All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to this, well, Xbox 2 podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Randall Thor 19. It's going to be definitely a very interesting show with lots of opinions on this beautiful January 20th, episode 251. And hopefully my mic's not crackling. Nothing went wrong behind the scenes. Nothing went wrong behind the scenes like last week where OBS crashed and I was just basically as frustrated as you can possibly imagine. We're here a little bit late, but me and Jez decided, you know what, Jez? You need to come in a little bit earlier. You need to come in at about 1:30, about 45 minutes before we start the show so we can get everything prepared. Jez agreed. So hopefully moving forward, this show will start on time. And with that, I'm going to introduce my co-host, the managing editor of Windows Central, the one and only Jez Corden. What's going on, man?
For now.
For now, well, yeah.
Looking at them media labs, like, whoa. But yes, hello, Rand. How are you? What a roller coaster week or two it's been. We had a lot of positive news with the developer direct. And, the hype around that. You get to see Redfall and other games detailed, finally. And then this week, it's been pain and sorrow and a glimpse at a very grim year to come, I guess. So there's a lot of interesting rumors and myths flying around about what's going on. But, we're going to get into it. With facts and research, which is what I've been doing.
Well, that is not what I've been doing. I have.
What have you been doing?
I've been playing some games, reading some books, doing all that stuff.
I've just been chilling while this storm's been going on in the background.
The journalist.
Rand's just been there with his feet up.
You're the journalist. You're the one that's supposed to. You're the one supposed to be getting all the sources and all the deep dives and everything. My job is just to kick my feet up on the couch cushions and then just enjoy. I'm a YouTuber, baby.
All right,
YouTuber.
All right, YouTuber. Eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to get into all the stuff.
Get into the bottom of everything. Lot of rumors, lot of speculation running rampant, Jez. Tons
Speculation
of it.
is running rampant.
I mean, hopefully you can bring some much-needed clarity to the situation, some much-needed answers. I know people are definitely being like, what's going on? We need some explanations. But yes, welcome to the Xbox 2, everyone. If you could do us a big favor, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Almost at 91,200. We're getting there. I've actually exceeded my goal for the month. My plan was to hit 91,000 this month, but we're already over that. Moving on. I mean, hopefully get to 100,000 this year. And then Sean LeBrie, who did the whole redesign, got the new logos. Although I need to change the logo on Discord. I just realized that it's my old one. I need to change that. But he redesigned my YouTube banner and the avatar, and redesigned the Xbox 2 stuff, and as I said before, we hit 100K. Most likely turn this into an on-camera podcast, so I need him to redesign that stuff. So, Sean just makes us look good. Like, I don't nearly look as good as that avatar or how he portrays us. He makes us look like $1 million, and I want to thank him for that. So, but we do have quite a bit of things to talk about this week, Jez. We have, Xbox Direct next week. Talk maybe a little bit about that. I saw a lot of outlets talking about predictions. I see Paris is in chat, one of the co-hosts of the excellent Kind of Funny Xcast, where they talk about Xbox. But one of my dudes, Snowbike Mike, who I love and adore, he kind of looks funny without his mustache. I ain't gonna lie, Paris. He kind of looks really funny.
Shave?
Yeah, he's shaved. He shaved
wow.
off the stash. He looks really funny. But not only did Kind of Funny XCast, but IGN did predictions for the Direct. I thought that was an interesting thing to do, considering Aaron Greenberg is being like, there's only 4 games that are going to be there. So I'm like, why are people making predictions? So I figured, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about that briefly. Is Starfield coming really soon, Jez? Because one of the official Bethesda accounts is saying it is. You know, obviously, the Microsoft layoffs, Xbox layoffs, you know, we'll talk about that. Talk everything, you know, about going on with the future of Halo. I'm sure that'll be a big topic. Scalebound rumors are back. They will never end. It would be the thorn in my side, it seems.
Didn't we talk about that last week?
No, well, we might have briefly mentioned it. We talked about it on Xbox 2 Ultimate. Remember? Because we swore our audience of Xbox 2 Ultimate to secret when we talked about those things. And nobody said anything because the people who listen to Xbox 2 Ultimate, who are subscribed, patreon.com/XB2, sometimes they hear things before, you know, things come out, just because it's just a free-flowing conversation that me and Jez had. But yeah, we didn't really talk about it on this show. But our buddy, Special Nick, he made some waves this past week. He made some waves. We'll talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm excited to get into it. But, you know, we're going to get into some housekeeping really quickly, and then we will get into the topic. So please hit the like button and subscribe. And this week, we have a brand new sponsor to the Xbox 2 podcast. And this week's sponsor is HelloFresh. So with HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Fast and fresh recipes. HelloFresh's latest line of meals featuring robust flavors and filling portions are ready in less than 15 minutes. Enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes, and Bernasi sauce or Southwest pork and bean burritos. Now, as most of you guys know, I'm on a diet, right? I'm looking to lose a ton of weight. And, you know, I'm proud to say that I've lost like almost 70 pounds so far. I think I'm at like 68. I'm almost at 70.
Damn.
And one of the things that's tough for me is always finding things to eat. I'm always somebody who just ordered out. But HelloFresh came to us and was like, hey, you know, you want to try this out? So I actually signed up for one of their boxes, and I should be getting it next week. And there are a couple things here that I am really keen to try out. Like next week's recipes, you got nacho pork burgers. And just a picture on the website makes it look really cool. You also have the peppercorn crusted beef tenderloin. That looks really, really interesting. I'm really lovely. The thing is, like, I don't like really cooking, and I don't like going to the store. I'm a hermit, if you guys really didn't know. So, you know, the ease of
we know.
Yes, I'm sure everybody does know. The ease of just basically getting it delivered to my house, and I can just do what I need with it here is very appealing. And because they're, you know, sponsoring with us, they have an offer for, you know, you guys, listeners of the show. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/Xbox222 and use the code Xbox2, which is fully spelled out XBOXTWO22, and get 22 free meals plus free shipping. So that's HelloFresh.com.
22?
Yeah, 22 free meals and free shipping. HelloFresh.com.
Free meals.
/Xbox222 and grab 22 free meals and free shipping with America's #1 meal kit. So thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode, and I can't wait to actually eat their food next week. And I'm sure at one point, probably in February, I'll tell you about my experience. So, yeah.
I'm kind of jealous, but yeah, 22 free meals is...
It's quite a lot.
That's actually, a lot. That's a lot of food.
Sure
I was like, well, I was expecting like two free meals or 1 or 2 free meals, but 22 free meals. That's quite generous. But
Yes.
hey, we get good sponsors, man. We're getting good sponsors now. We're like legit and shit. I don't know.
Yeah. But we also are supported by the wonderful people at patreon.com/XB2, where we just did Xbox 2 Ultimate, which is a Patreon exclusive show. We do have an Xbox 2 Plus 1 episode coming at the end of the month, January 30th, and our guest will be the one and only Jeffrey Grubb, the Grubster.
Huh?
The Grubster.
The Grubster
will join us to talk about.
Grubster?
Yeah. I asked Jeff if he could do it, and he's looking forward to it. So he will join us January 30th to talk about the showcase, talk about Xbox, talk about everything going on. With all the stuff, ABK. I cannot wait to talk to Jeff, to Grubb about all this stuff. So that'll be towards the end of the month. But we also have, shout outs to you as well, Jess. So you want to shout out the wonderful people?
Yeah.
Patreon.com.
And then we'll get into some super chats, I guess. But yeah, Patreon shout outs are the new patrons. The Bearded Tate, Sleet XZ, Army Dude 52C, Mr. Butterjeans, William Schumacher, Ryan Keipel, Foreign Object, Mythic Marty, Gunstar 75, Miranda Donkey 99, C Money, Mario Kart, Madman on YouTube, Macazilla, Jez is better than James Corden, Randolph Thor 19,
thank you.
Eric Gregory, Elijah Vasquez, James Moore, Rip J Briscoe. Oh yeah, that's pretty sad. I was reading about that. Katriox, Bright Tundra 1, Jasper Shapp. I ran out of ideas for names. Justin Duell, Frank Marino, P-Bro King, Ace Tim Madison, Untidy Tim, Grizzly Mofo OG, Governor Grim, DZ Huffing, Woggerman Achievement, Scarecrow 1-1, Darren Torpy, Professor JJ, Butterball 8, Ghostface Killer, Wolfgang, KBZ, and Ralph Wiggum.
Yes. Woo! You read
Thank
that really
much
quickly.
You
read that really quickly. I'm impressed, Jez. I'm very impressed.
I did. I wanted to get through it because everyone's awesome. Thank you so much for supporting us, and even more people are changing their names now on the Patreon. Yeah. It's like they're getting a free little text read on the show by doing that. But yeah, it's really cool. But yes, Rand, we're getting Jeff Grubb on XB2 plus 1 in the future, and yeah.
Well, it should be really interesting. So if you want access to that when it drops, patreon.com/XB2, you get a whole bunch of other cool things just to keep in mind, and I'm sure we'll talk about it next week, because next week we're going to be reviewing, the Xbox Direct, see what happens. But I want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring the show, as well as all the amazing patrons. And let's move into the show, get some of these super chats, and then we got a lot to talk about, Jez. Because I haven't really talked to you that much this week, because you've been doing your journalistic due diligence. Well, I've been out here playing video games and reading books, and I'm very interested to see what you have to say about all this. So we have Super Chat here from Jake. This is my new favorite podcast, and I can't wait to hear your take on the Microsofts from earlier in the week. Love you guys. Well, we love you, Jake. Thank you for being here. We have, let's see here. I hate when it updates and pushes things out of the way. We have a member chat from Flame, who's been a member for 19 months, says, this entire week has been depressing, but hey, at least Rand can finally talk about his favorite game, probably returning. Scalebound, baby! Scalebound. Yes, it never ends. Literally, like, every single podcast for I don't know how long his people have just been bringing up Scalebound. Just constantly bringing it up, because they know it's just kind of one of those things. Fault. It's just like, it is Nick's fault. I blame everything on Special Nick. I don't even know if he's listening. I don't even care if he is. I'll drop by Xbox Air. I'll even super chat stuff to Xbox Air. But Nick, barely ever comes by Xbox 2. Barely ever super chats. It's kind of this thing we have. We're supposed to do that for each other.
Oh man.
Sith Lord, newest member of the channel. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy all the emotes. We also have a member chat from Dark Siaya. 41 months, which is incredible. It's a long time. Hey guys, hope everyone where the layoffs this past day will find a new story in the industry. Yep, 41 months, hope for lots more, and do 2023 deliver. I mean, I hope so. I got my fingers crossed. Knock on wood that 2023 is going to be a great year for gaming and for Xbox in particular. They definitely need one after the the year they put out in 2022. 2023 has to be better than that, and I think it's going to be pretty good. We'll see. We have one from Dreadful Sean. Was Bethesda Starfield acquired to replace 343 Halo as the flagship? 343 has never really had a banger Halo game and is now becoming a shell of what they were. I mean, I don't think they were acquired with the idea of them replacing Halo, simply because Starfield's a game that's going to come out, maybe get an expansion, and live on, but it's basically a singular release where Halo's multiplayer lasts for, a long time. I don't know, Jez. I don't think the idea of like Microsoft acquiring Bethesda was with it like, okay, we need a replacement for Halo. Because I think they thought Halo they acquired it in 2020 and it closed in 2021 before Halo Infinite came out. I'm sure Microsoft thought that Halo Infinite was going to be successful.
I don't think they were operating Halo with the view that it wouldn't be successful. I mean, and it's like saying like, why even try if your expectation is it's going to fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda was just a case of like, we have this opportunity, and also Microsoft had worked really closely with them for a long time, and Phil was a personal friend of pretty much everyone in the senior leadership team. It just kind of made sense, and it came along at the right time. And all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you were any platform or publisher, you'd want to buy Bethesda. Halo doesn't even factor into it, I don't think. But there has been this narrative about Halo and Starfield though, because people noticed, Rand, that Starfield has replaced Master Chief on the box of the Xbox Series X, which is where like a lot. I put out a poll on Twitter, feeding this a little bit, where people were sort of discussing the possibility that Microsoft would, try and, I don't know, sort of downplay Halo maybe in their marketing and their iconography for Xbox moving forward because of all the problems that the game's had. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, Master Chief's still iconic. And yeah, it's things are pretty dire right now if you're a Halo fan. I'm not going to lie. But I don't think we're going to be in a situation where Halo is completely gone. We're going to talk about it more in depth later, but the things I've got to say about Halo are a little bit more optimistic than some of the stuff that's out there. So,
well, since you brought it up about the box, that was one of the topics. I figured let's just dive into that right now. Starfield announcement coming soon on the back of the box. People are telling me that like there's a new Xbox On video that just came out, and they're saying in that video that it's coming the first half of the year, which they're still like saying in their marketing. I know like people take what we say as like verifiable fact. Like both me and Jez thought we could both see it coming at the end of the second half of the year, which is by no means any truth to that outside of just our personal feelings, because I don't have any information about.
You've got a bet that it's launching before.
I mean, whatever. It's a $10 bet. If it was $1,000 bet, I would think twice about it. But
you can buy a lot of things with $10, man.
Okay, sure enough. But I don't know when Starfield's launching, and neither does Jez. Because if Jez knew, Jez said he would write an article about it. It would be all over there because the clicks would be insane. So juicy. It's more just like a feeling rather than like any sort of more than like what we were talking about with the showcase, right? This event where like we knew the event was coming and like we knew when it was coming and we knew when it was going to be announced because we had been hearing about it for over a month. The Starfield thing, I've been trying to like track down, like information about Starfield, but all the information about Starfield is all over the place. All over the place. It seems to be very fluid. So, but more particularly about the announcement coming soon is, and people had sent me this, was that Starfield dedicated event and release date reveal coming very soon, says official account. And obviously, like, you see this article, you're like, well, okay, that's cool if an official account says this, but it gets a little bit deeper than that. So, okay, we have... When asked about the release date, the official Bethesda's official Latin American Instagram account chimed in with this response by saying, quote, "Very soon we will announce a release date. We are preparing a special game event. Now, we know that they're preparing a game event. They said so during the Developer Direct announcement that there is one in the works, and Starfield deserves one. You have the Bethesda official Latin American Instagram account saying that, the dedicated event and the release date reveal are coming very soon. What do you think, Jez? Should people take this to heart? Should they just dismiss this because it's a different country's official account? Where are you on all this?
When did that Xbox On thing happen?
Somebody just sent it to me. I believe it was Nano Polymyth. Shout out to Nano. I know he's watching. He always sends me some cool stuff, and I'm glad that he's back because he seemed to have taken a break, like a lot of people sometimes. Social media. I'm trying to load it up now. They put out a video, facts about Xbox's 2023 exclusives you may not already know, and they put this out 41 minutes ago. And it's a video that says, here's Minecraft Legends for a minute, Forza Motorsport, Redfall, and, here's something about Starfield. Obviously, I'm not going to listen to it, but he is telling me that, in the DMs, Xbox On just reconfirmed Starfield is launching the first half of 2023. And, I know there's a lot of Mr. Matty Plays, who I respect greatly. I watch all of his videos. He came out in Defining Duke and said he had a source that told him possibly it might be delayed to the second half of the year. So yeah, what do you think about all this, Jez?
Well, first of all, I don't think Instagram social media manager knows for sure.
Sure.
About Starfield's launch date.
I would say the
so.
Same.
I wouldn't put any stock in that article or that analysis of that situation whatsoever. That being said, I have heard some things this week.
Okay.
That kind of make me regret taking that bet.
Really? So I should feel more happy that I took that bet then?
Yes.
Okay.
You should.
Okay.
Because I think this is already out there. I think Todd might have said in an interview or something that the game is playable start to finish. Yep. I've been speaking to someone who has been playing the game from start to finish. Mm-hmm. And it's deep in the polish phase.
Yes.
It's not a situation of like, the game is content complete. It's just in a polish phase now. And yes, it's a big game. It is a big game. And I don't even think that's like a leak or insider information. I think that's public. I think they said that in some interview somewhere, where it's like feature complete and they're just in this polishing phase now. And like, my pessimism was kind of like, because when I don't know things, I kind of default to the glass is half empty, right? Or as I said on another show, the glass isn't just half empty; it's smashed on the floor, and you're stepping in the glass. That's my sort of default when I don't know the information, right? When I do know the information, it's sort of like the clouds parting and the nice little sun rays come flooding in and give you that warm glow of the sun on your skin, and that's kind of how I feel about Starfield now, Rand.
Okay,
I'm feeling the glow.
You're feeling it now. Optimism. You're feeling it now. Okay, I like this.
Even though I don't believe any of the social media stuff that's out there that is launching the first half of the year. I don't think they know for sure. And personally, I don't think Bethesda has put a hard launch date on the game yet.
I'd agree with you. I don't think I think they have a window, but I don't think they have a hard date.
Yeah. They've got a window they've got a window to launch it before June. And I think they will. I think they will get it out before June.
Wow, this is folks, this is a complete 180. I am shocked to my core. Jez, it's not, what's going to happen soon enough. We're going to have the one and only Sloth. You're about to get slothed, right?
Well, it's just speculation. But the thing that
don't sloth
the thing
this.
That I don't
sloth. It's not slothable. Don't sloth this. Apparently.
Yeah, the part of it that is less than speculation is the part where I don't think they've got a hard launch date in mind yet. I don't think they have got a hard launch date. I don't think we're at that point yet. I think they're giving themselves enough leeway to be like, we need a little bit more time. They want this to be a masterpiece. They want this to be the magnum opus you know.
Jodicus says info-based Jez versus feelings-based Jez. 100% here. Yes,
I hate feelings-based.
We were definitely in feelings-based Jez. And feelings-based Jez last year said that 100% Starfield is locked in and not getting delayed. That was feelings-based Jez. So
feelings-based Jez is not smart.
How much are we to trust feelings-based Jez or feelings-based Jeremy?
Oh man, be quiet. But anyway, yeah, like feelings-based Jez is a lot less accurate than feelings-based Rand, who Rand's feeling-based predictions mysteriously heavily accurate a lot of the time. But yeah, this is why I don't like facts-based Jez. Feelings-based Jez. I much prefer facts-based Jez, which is why, like, you know, I ended up in this job. I don't like reading rumors and speculation and you know, feelings. I gotta know this stuff, man. I have to know everything all the time, and I'm just nosy. You know, I'm a nosy guy, and I have to know. Now I know. I feel really good about Starfield, man. Really good.
So you're talking to somebody who's been playing it. Which is, you've kind of hinted at that on Twitter to some people where you talked about like things I'm hearing. So you're talking to somebody who's been playing it. It's playable from beginning to end, which is not a surprise. And even though for a long time you've been on the thing of probably second half of the year, even when they said it was still coming the first half of the year, even when they updated the help page and all these sort of things that pointed to the first half of the year, you were very much of the opinion, nah, man, second half of the year. Nah, man, second half of the year. Nope. September, whatever. Now suddenly, a week later, after like we gave poor Pong's soul almost an aneurysm, now you're doing a 180, and now you feel the glow, and now for whatever reason you think it's coming before the end of June, huh? That is definitely. I did not expect this at all.
I don't. I put it this way. I don't think it's going to be all the way to holiday season. You know, maybe it could get a little delay. Maybe like to July, August, or something like that. But like before, man, I was like really settled on this idea that it could launch all the way in November. You know, it could launch. It could be like a holiday. It could end up being a holiday game, and who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe Todd Howard will just, you know, hit up Phil and be like, you know what, Phil, I want to add a whole new system to this game. Give me an extra year or something.
Jeez.
I don't know. You don't know, do you? It's crazy. I mean, well, I would hope that doesn't happen, but who knows? Maybe he's just like, you know what this game really needs, Phil. This game really needs a space farming system and crafting system where you can have like your hydroponics in your little ship. And you can, you know, grow your little plants and make potions and stuff. Because I know, we all know, guys, Rand loves these crafting systems in games. So, Rand's favorite thing in games is harvesting materials and doing crafting stuff. So maybe, like, you know, we'll get some space farming system that'll delay the game a year. I don't know, but nah, I'm pretty optimistic about Starfield launching sooner rather than later at this point. Man, I just got to see it, man. I got to see it. I got to see the Bethesda developer direct with Todd's beautiful face.
So I was on PM in the PM last night with Pong Soul and Fun Speculation Mav. Yeah.
Right.
You've been on it, right? And both Pong and both Mav are on the train that they're very much of the opinion that there's going to be a Starfield showcase in February or early March, with the game releasing on 3/23/23.
3/23/23.
Because Todd's love his dates, right? So they're very much that is the hill they are dying on. 3/23/23, which would be
could happen.
Incredible. Although I believe 3/23/23 is also the release date of Resident Evil 4, and I sort of said, Xbox gotta be a little cautious. Capcom's one of their partners, and I don't know if you want to upset Capcom by releasing Starfield on the same day that Resident Evil 4 is coming out. I would imagine Xbox would steer clear, but hey, you know, people get their emotions get the better of them. They want the game to come out. But shout out to Pong and Mav for having me on the. And you were also on a pocket. You were on World of Gaming with Boxenberger and Wandering Dutch as well, right? Yesterday.
Yeah, good show. Love those guys. I was very, very tired, and I feel really bad that how tired I was during that show with those guys. I slept extra for today's show, but I couldn't do it yesterday.
Good.
Yeah.
You know who might know the release date? I think maybe King David or Lord Cognito might, because I don't know if you saw.
What's that?
They were at the New York Game Awards thing where Todd and Phil both were taking pictures and everything. I wonder if Todd and Phil told the Iron Lords the release dates of Starfield, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, Iron Lords are like the true insiders now. They've got like the inside track.
I wish I was cool as the Iron Lords. I wish I was, man.
Nah, no one's that cool, man.
No, nobody's as cool as King David is like the coolest, and even was like, he does the show in the glasses and he had the black beard, but now he's got the gray beard, and it's like, damn, most people when they go gray, there's like, you're not as cool, but he looks even cooler now. How's that possible? How's King David just so damn cool?
I mean, I only bought the Lilith statue because I wanted to be like a modicum closer to King David's coolness, man.
Leet Sanderick says, did you see Paris's prediction of the Starfield event being on National Space Day on the 5th of May? Love that idea. I mean, that idea is super interesting. My pushback on that idea, and I don't know if Paris is still here, I hope he is, because Paris is amazing, is that Redfall's supposed to come out the 2nd. And I sort of feel, rumored to come out the 2nd, right? I think we've talked about this on the show. I think we'll know when Redfall is launching next week on Wednesday. But assuming it's launching the 2nd, I sort of feel like they wouldn't do a Starfield event right after one of their games just came out. I don't know. I just kind of feel like would that be a good thing? Would that overshadow just the release of the new Redfall game? Maybe I'm thinking a little differently, and maybe that wouldn't affect Redfall. But I mean, that's an interesting. I sort of think you're gonna do the show. You're gonna do the Starfield showcase whenever they have a hard date locked for the game releasing. Like if the game's coming in September, you probably do it in August, right? If the game's coming in March, you probably do it in February. If the game's coming in June, yeah, you probably would do it in May at some point. I think it entirely, I think it mostly matters about when that launch date is for Starfield. When they actually have committed to the date and they know, then they could be like, okay, what's the perfect time to do a showcase? So, yes. Anyways, let's. We kind of took a detour there a little bit. A little bit of detour, hey, I love the detours when we got feelings-based Jez talking about Starfield, I like that detour.
Feelings-based.
Yeah, feelings-based Jez. We need more.
We need names. We need names.
Names for what?
We need like special names for feelings-based Jez and facts-based Jez.
We do. I don't know. That's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type stuff.
Yeah, it really is, to be honest.
Which one's the monster? Is it feelings-based Jez? And
feelings-based
Jez is Dr.
definitely
Jekyll?
The monster.
Yeah. We don't want that.
Have you read that book?
I've read parts of it, but not the whole thing.
Parts of it.
I don't think I've.
How does that work?
I don't think. I mean, I think I've read parts of it. Meaning, like, I don't think I've finished it, but I don't remember. It's been so long. We have a super chat here from Supernova. It says, "Let's settle this. Do they call her biscuits or cookies?" Do they call her biscuits or cookies? I'm gonna call her cookies. So.
No, it's biscuits.
No, it's cookies.
No, let's not do this.
I know, let's not. We have Sin Vendetta saying, "Happy Friday, Rand and Jez. What a wild week. First, Microsoft lays off 10,000 employees, and the Google lays off 12,000 employees. Crazy what's going on." Yeah, recession and all the tech companies that overhired during the pandemic are now like, oh my God, profits are down. Our stockholders are going to be angry. Our stock prices are falling, and we need to let people go because we value stock more than individual human life because we're companies and corporations. We don't really give a care about anything else other than making our stockholders happy and having infinite growth. Capitalism, baby. Yeah.
Capitalism,
Horrible.
baby. Yeah, I mean, we could get into a whole discussion about
let's not
capitalism, but we won't. We won't
because
we'll be sad.
Here for a long time and be sad.
Yes.
Kevin Malone says, "Hey guys, finally caught you live."
Actually,
what?
Sorry, before you read that super chat, I just want to just to bash Google. Did you see how Google's New York office laid off its staff?
I did not know.
So what they did was, if you were trying to get into the building at Google's New York office, if your company badge worked on the door, that's how you knew you weren't laid off. So they laid people off by blocking their access to the building. So like if you got a red light, you were laid off, and if you got a green light, you're okay.
I actually did see that. Yeah. They went to the thing, used their card, and if it was red or green, they knew if they were fired or still employed. What a way to do it, huh?
Isn't it?
What a way to do it. What a shitty way to do it.
Shitty company.
Yeah. Well, we also got here. We have hold on. I gotta refresh the page so I can get everybody's stuff here so I don't miss anything. We have Kevin Malone, who says, "Hey guys, finally caught you live. Thanks for the entertainment. Rough going for Xbox, Microsoft right now, but 2023 is looking good regardless." Indeed. Hopefully, the show next week is the injection that people need. It's very entertaining. We get some release dates, and then we can kind of start out. I mean, yeah, because layoffs are awful. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, it definitely has sort of a sour taste to everything right now. Highlander says, "I have seen Sony ponies on Twitter saying that Microsoft and Xbox are in trouble. I would not trust these Sony ponies to run a lemonade stand, never mind $1 trillion company." I mean, some people are just doing it to troll. It's best to just ignore them. I know that's kind of the thing. Oh, Game Pass. This is because Game Pass is failing that they're getting rid of everybody. And it's like, yeah, no. But that's just, that's the console war, the pathetic console war that grown men fight daily on Twitter for some sort of, I don't even know. It's not like any of these companies really care about any of these people on Twitter. They just do it.
Weird to me.
It's so weird to me. It's very weird. Very weird. Alexander Dark says, "Jez, I need you to tell me I won't be waiting 5 years for the next Halo campaign." Well, we will be... I'm sure we'll be talking about that, but I think you probably might need to wait a while for the next Halo campaign, if there even is a next Halo campaign.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Halo stuff in a bit.
JW Universe says, "I think the cuts are part of the Activision deal." I see. I don't think so. I think they're cutting jobs that they feel they could afford to lose. I know, like you see the headlines and it's like 10,000 people let go, which is awful, and it's like, oh, Microsoft is also spending $70 billion on and this was announced on the anniversary of the Activision deal, right? Oh, but then Microsoft is acquiring 10,000 people with Activision for $70 billion. But the reality is that the Activision acquisition is a revenue generator, right? You're acquiring the 10,000 people because Activision is going to add $9 billion to your yearly revenue or whatever Activision makes. I think it's like $9 billion or whatever it is. So like those 10,000 employees are essentially bringing in $9 billion every single year. So it's not necessarily the same. I understand optics-wise when you look at it like, oh my God, you just cut 10,000 jobs, but you're in the middle of acquiring a company that has 10,000 employees. And yeah, it looks like one of these things is just a corporation. Corporations don't care about people. They care about the bottom line profits. They care about, if their shareholders are happy and their stock prices and what Wall Street thinks, But the way the company looks at it is that Activision Blizzard is worth acquiring those 10,000 people because it's going to add $9 billion every single year to their bottom line, essentially. We have XX Grum saying, "Rand, did you play MapleStory where you were a hermit?" No, I did not. But I am a hermit in real life. I don't need to play a game where I'm a hermit as well. So, Chuck Norris says, "This is the year, guys. I can feel it in my bones. Xbox will come back from the dead and maybe, just maybe, relive its former 360 glory days." Wouldn't that be something? That'd be pretty...
I keep thinking about that. We're getting we're essentially getting a new Todd Howard game. It's kind of, that is definitively a 360 thing in my brain. I know we got Fallout 4, but it wasn't that great. And they've been pretty firm about saying, like, yeah, we're returning to like the way we used to do these things with Starfield. So yeah, maybe we are returning to that point, hopefully. I guess we'll see.
We have a super chat from Special Nick. He decides to actually show up for a change. And he says, "Why is the Gears collection in the title when it doesn't exist?" You knew he was going to say this. You knew he was going to say this.
He's got a good point there.
He does have a good point. So do you want to talk about the Gears collection, Jez? Because
we could talk
Special
about
Nick, Special Nick, co-host of Xbox Era, but does really nothing else for Xbox Era. Not like Jesse, who does 100 reviews, or John, who's the brains, or One Bad Mother, who's like really the heart. He just shows up to a podcast 52 times a year and basically is like, "Let me review Street Fighter 6, mate," and is like, I'm co-owner of Xbox Era, right? That's pretty much Nick. And then there's a rumor mill where he hears like, "Hey, my source is telling me this may not be true, or things could change." He's always covering his ass, because even when we talk about the Scalebound thing, it's like they're in early talks. Early talks can mean it maybe never gets done, or it's completely different, or it doesn't go through. But Nick always protects himself, because he could be like, "Listen, I said it was early talks. That doesn't mean it's actually going to happen." Either way, Special Nick is here. And he talked about Gears Collection last year, which didn't show up at E3, but he never said it was going to show up at E3. Now, Jez, you had said that at the time, Gears Collection doesn't exist, which at the time was true, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Does the Gears Collection exist now?
Does the Gears Collection exist now? Ooh, that's an interesting conversation. I still don't have firm evidence of it, but I will say that the pendulum's kind of swung maybe a little bit further in Nick's favor more recently.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it could, like, now it could be possible. As before, I was like, nah, what's Nick talking about? Dude's mad.
Well,
now it's looking
to be fair, Nick has also told us stuff in private that never happened at all, and will never happen. Yeah. So it was kind of like, I don't know, Nick. I don't know.
I don't know. He's been right. He's been right sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Usually Nick's usually right when it has nothing to do with Xbox. It's usually like has to do with PlayStation or something else.
Nick's like basically a PlayStation insider.
I mean, he doesn't really play an Xbox. He mostly plays on the Switch and other things, right?
Yeah, his favorite game's GoldenEye, right?
Yeah, GoldenEye. Where is GoldenEye still supposed to come out, Nick? Where's that at? What's going on with GoldenEye?
What's the deal with GoldenEye, actually? Isn't that officially announced?
It was in September, I believe, and they said coming soon. And soon. That's what, 4 months, 5 months now.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I think that's up to Nintendo. I think Nintendo has the publishing rights, and I think it's one of those things where they get to announce and decide when it's happening. And who knows when Nintendo gets around to it? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose that's weird, but. I don't know. Gears Collection, I kind of feel like, Unreal Engine 5's here now, and, we're kind of at a point where they can use some of the new technology that Epic Games is putting out there to very rapidly iterate on something that actually constitutes a remake or definitive collection or whatever, because they've got all that AI technology now for doing ray tracing automatically and improving textures automatically. And the Coalition has shown itself to be one of these studios that really gets in and uses new Unreal stuff early. So for me, and based on some of the rumors I've been hearing, And again, this isn't like hard concrete evidence kind of stuff. Not like when when I leaked the developer direct, I had super hard confirmation on that. So I've got nothing to confirm that there is or isn't a Gears collection right now. But it's kind of becoming. It's at a point where it makes a lot more sense, I think. And yeah, maybe it is true.
Interesting.
If we're gonna grade rumors, I give this rumor a B- right now.
A B-? You give it like 8 nicks out of 10 nicks or something?
Yeah, maybe 7.5 nicks out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good possibility that it might actually happen a couple years from now. I just wonder what would release first then, the Gears collection or Gears 6? And if it's they're working on it now, when's it going to be released? And because in my opinion, if you're doing a Gears collection, which I admit does make some sense, like Gears really isn't on PC, like 2 and 3 aren't, Ultimate Edition is, and 4 and 5 are. Like, okay, if you do the Gears collection, you run them through Unreal Engine 5, you obviously redo the ones that people love with the multiplayer, kind of like a Master Chief collection, right? I would imagine you would want that out before Gears 6. Like, why would you put it out after Gears 6? It's more like an appetizer for the next game. But we're already at 2023, and I doubt it comes out this year. Maybe it comes out in 2024 and Gears 6 comes out in 2025, but even if it, I don't know when they're starting it or if they're in production now. Just because it's happening now doesn't mean like they're actually in full production. They could have just signed the contract or what have you. So then it's like, okay, well, how far out is Gears 6 then? But then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Gears 6 comes first and then the Gears collection comes, which would seem an odd way to do it. But, I mean, I would be interested in seeing Gears 2 completely remade in Unreal Engine 5. That would be something. Even though the Gears games are fully back and pat, they do the Ho-Chi method to get to 4K and they're 60 frames, so they look damn good already. But, hey, look, So you got Special Nick saying it's 100% happening, and then Paris saying there is no need for a Gears collection. So you got two gulfs of thoughts there for the Gears collection.
Oh.
And
you
know what? This is a good time for a poll. I'll start a poll.
Oh, okay. Drop a poll in there.
So, is there what's the question I should ask? Is there a need for a Gears collection, or do you want a Gears collection? Okay, do you want a Gears collection? That's a good question to ask. Yes. Love Gears. Do you
want a Gears collection, Rand? What are you gonna vote?
No. Let's move on. Well, hold on. I'm just putting on the
I'm asking Rand questions while he's in the middle of typing.
Yeah, I'm typing. Do I need one? No. I guess it really depends. Like, is this also? Are they doing this instead of something else? That's always my sort of thing. And I know people will say, well, you're really looking forward to Dead Space, and that's a remake. And it's like, yeah, that's true. I haven't played it since 2009, but it's also more than a remake. They've added things that weren't in the first one. Like Isaac is speaking. They've expanded the game. They've added sections that weren't in the original. So even though it's a remake, it's still sort of different.
When does that launch? It's pretty soon, right?
Yeah, next Friday. So a week from today. So
we could have
let's people vote in the poll, and if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's move on, Jez, because we do have some more super chats to get to. We have one here from Wolf of Iowa, who says, I think Halo could roar back if they drop the BR along with 4 maps and a PlayStation release on the same day. A PlayStation release? You just made everybody angry in chat right now, sir. You just made everybody in chat super pissed.
Dude, he's so right, though. He's so right.
Yeah, I know. You've been banging the drum for that for a while.
It's one of the... I mean, he's right and wrong, though. I mean, I think Halo would blow up if it was on PlayStation. But at the same time, it's like the psychological damage that Xbox fans would be, it's like, what's that meme? Emotional damage.
Emotional damage, yeah.
Emotional damage. Uncle Roger, that whole thing. It's kind of like that the emotional damage would be palpable, but at the same time, Tencent and Valorant and stuff, they don't give a crap about consoles, and they're rocking on PC like no man's business. So is that going to be the silver bullet? They've got Steam and they've got Xbox. If they can't succeed on those platforms, I don't think PlayStation's going to move the needle. But I don't think they should drop the Battle Royale though either. I mean, we're gonna get into Halo stuff in a minute. I got a lot to say about this stuff. So hang tight.
We have a super chat from On the Bright Side who says, "Is it a coincidence Developer Direct is just a few days before the NFL Championship games? Will we see Starfield trailer during both games with the release date and a Developer Direct tune-in date?" I mean, I think that's asking for a lot. There's a lot of conspiracies floating around about all this. I've heard. I didn't make a video this week because I was going to collect all these insane rumors floating around about Xbox and stuff, but I didn't really, I don't know, once I didn't really feel into, maybe I still will, but one of the things that was floating around was Starfield's going to have a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, that's never been done before in gaming to my knowledge. And if usually the people who have Super Bowl ads are known well in advance, and that's quite expensive, and I'm just are people huffing on the hopium on this one? I understand people want Starfield to come ASAP, and I understand people are well, Xbox didn't show up at the Game Awards, but what if they didn't show up at the Game Awards because they're planning on having a huge announcement during the Super Bowl? What better way to advertise Starfield than to the millions of people watching the video, the game who have no idea what the hell Starfield is? They would even care. Your Karens and your dudes are just drinking beer, being "What is this space game? Looks like Legos. Is that on my phone? Is it free? Is it free, Sue? I don't know, Todd.
Sue and Todd.
I don't know. Whatever.
Who are these people?
Just people I just made up.
Do they work at Butts Electric?
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Sue and Todd, man.
I feel like a Super Bowl ad would just be a waste of money, and you're just better off doing it.
I want him to do it.
I mean, sure, it would be you'd be what? That's
Super
nuts.
Bowl.
That's nuts. But it also falls into the line of people thinking Starfield's coming in March. It'd be Super Bowl ad in February, and then thing in March, right? I already mentioned, I think we will know the release. We will know the Starfield deep dive when the game's actually locked in for a release date, and I don't think they know that right now. Sith Lord says your new nickname should be Cookie and Biscuits. Please no. If it should be, I'm Cookie and Jez is Biscuits. Clearly, right?
Yeah, I would think
Achievement says, "Said some love to RGT85. Indeed, he had a really scary situation health wise, which is weird, or not weird, but I was just on the Spawncast with RGT and Spawnwave, and Nate the Hate and MVG and Miss Click and the one and only OJ Player Essence, and then the next day it's I'm in the hospital and there's something to do with his I think he had an ear infection, but then it was no, your heart's really screwed up or something, and and he put I don't know, I think he had a really severe scare or something, but he might be doing good now, so hopefully it gets better. Yeah. Falabi says, are there any leaks about the Overwatch 2 campaign? Well, that would be Jez's department. Do you know anything about the Overwatch 2 campaign?
I don't know a damn thing about what's going on with Overwatch, other than that everyone's just as pissed off with Overwatch as they are with Halo at the minute. It's not easy making a service game in current year. I think this is going to be on a slight tangent, but you know what I'm starting to realize is that a lot of these companies, supposedly Ubisoft had 12 battle royales in development, according to Tom Henderson, I think. It's and you believe it, right? You totally believe it. That's such a Ubisoft thing to do.
Of course.
Trend check.
Yes.
I think a lot of these companies set up all these game ideas with the view that the pandemic would last forever. I kind of feel like that. I think they were thinking like, oh man, we're gonna our numbers are so boosted because no one can go to school, no one can go to work. We need 12 battle royales to meet demand because look at all the extra gamers we're getting. But now the pandemic's over, and now they're like, oh shit, the pandemic didn't last forever, and we're complete morons. We didn't prepare for this, and now we've got to do all these layoffs. We've got to cancel all these games, and actually, everyone's really fatigued with service games because there's not enough time in the day for all these battle passes. I saw when the rumor that Suicide Squad has a battle pass or whatever, everyone was groaning and moaning. It's like, oh man, not another battle pass, you know. And it's oh God, it's exhausting, man. I did the first Overwatch battle pass, because the skin at the end of it was pretty cool. But now I'm just like, I'm not doing all that again. And I haven't touched Overwatch for weeks now. You know, oh man. I'm just so done with battle passes and all that kind of stuff.
There's a couple of people that don't like my take about the Super Bowl ad, Jez. Beta Cypher says a Super Bowl ad for a new IP, waste of money. A collection of Gears games, investment. Get the fuck out of here, Rand. And then
I don't know. I don't know much about the Super Bowl. I mean, I know I've never watched it because I suppose it's on at a weird time. I've never watched American football at all. But I know about the Super Bowl ads because it seems like it's a big tradition over there, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it like a tradition?
I mean, it's like the biggest television thing of the year, you know? I mean, it is sort of like a tradition now, yeah. Josh Lowry thinks I'm an idiot. He says, I think you're an idiot. It absolutely makes sense, and more people would like to see the ad than you're conveying. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't like to see a Starfield ad either, but does it make sense? Is the game actually coming out soon after? Josh, is it? Do you know? Is Starfield releasing soon after an ad? Because what would be the point of having a Super Bowl ad for Starfield that the game's not coming out until September? Or the game's not coming out until June? What would be the point of advertising something that literally you can't go and get immediately, right? Like, it'd be a waste of money in that sense. But I'm an idiot. But you're here watching my show. I don't understand.
You can, to play devil's advocate, you'd be able to pre-order it.
Sure.
You'd be able to go out and buy an Xbox. I mean, if they angled it correctly and they were just like, you know, this is you can pre-order an Xbox Series S and you know, get ready for Starfield and stuff. By the way, it's not on PlayStation, never will be on PlayStation. All that kind of stuff.
Until the CMA and the EC make that one of their concessions that Xbox can't have any exclusives. Yeah, everything has to be on PlayStation.
That'd be so funny if they did that. That'd be just so funny.
Yeah.
And weird.
I mean,
if they tried that, Xbox is kind of Supreme Court. I kind of feel like.
In my opinion, I think the
amount
of money that you would spend on an ad for a Starfield is wouldn't be worth it. That's what I think. Would it be a cool thing to see? Absolutely.
When is the Super Bowl?
February 12th.
Ooh, that's yeah. See, if it was a little bit later on, I could see it. But yeah, I also think February 12th is probably the impact will be reduced. I would presume. I don't know though. I ain't a marketing guy, and also Microsoft's got cash to burn. Maybe Microsoft just wants to do it out of vanity or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Super Bowl ad for a sort of general Xbox Super Bowl ad that sort of heavily features Starfield, but also pushes the Series S and that kind of stuff. Because one of the problems Xbox has is probably brand awareness, right?
Sure.
I would have thought. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's all about return on investment. How much are you spending, and how much you think you'll get back? Is an ad at Super Bowl worth spending X amount of $1 million when you can use that money and advertise in different places more often? Is that one drop in front of that one audience worth it? I don't know.
I don't know if Xbox really cares about it.
But why are we even talking about it? It's you know, we can talk. If it happens, I'll bow down to Josh and say, I guess I was truly an idiot, you know? I mean, I guess I understand what Paris is saying. He says Starfield the Super Bowl would be a huge show of confidence that Xbox and Bethesda thinks is a flagship level title that will sell hardware and push Game Pass subs. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, they never did an ad for Halo or anything else. Sony's never done ads there, neither is Nintendo. I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, granted, there's always a first time for everything, and that would be a major sign that Starfield has the backing of everything. But I also sort of feel if you do it, there better be a release date at the end of that trailer, because otherwise, what's the point? If you just do a 30-second Starfield thing that you pay whatever amount it is for 30 seconds, $5 million? $5
million?
Or however much a Super Bowl ad is these days. It's quite expensive, It's
$10. $10,
and
mate.
CK Revenge says Xbox does have a brand awareness problem, but not in the US, which is very true. They might have a brand awareness problem in the rest of the world, and the rest of the world really doesn't watch the Super Bowl. They don't really have a brand awareness problem
they do.
in the US, though.
The world does watch the Super Bowl for some reason. Don't know why.
Yeah, but not like here in the States. Okay, so let's move on from that. We'll see. Like I said, if there is a Super Bowl ad, I will get down on here and be like, I was an idiot. I'm sorry. You guys were all right. Starfield's coming 3/23/23. You guys can have my knees if that's the case.
Nah. We'll let you keep your knees, right?
No, I'll give the knees up. Because I don't think that's happening.
Nah, bro. You can keep your knees, bro.
We have one here from Eric Math who says, listen to the dirty nil. Chaos Might says, feelings-based Jez is named Jeremy, and fact-based Jez is named Jez. I like that one. And Armello says, hey, Jez, did you see Gene on Good Morning America? Ask him how he got his mic to work. P.S. Love you, Rand. Yeah. How do you get it? Yeah.
Oh, great. That's not very nice. But yeah, Gene's doing really well.
We should get Gene on Xbox 2+1.
Yeah, we should. We should get Gene.
We should get Gene on there. We should get Paris on there too. I was thinking maybe we should get Paris on there, like after E3 or something. We could talk about what he thinks and what the future of Xbox is. And I'm assuming Paris will be part of FanFest and host and stuff because he's super cool, charismatic. He could tell us all about that behind the scenes stuff. That'd be let's lock Paris in for Xbox 2+1 after E3.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this poll. We have 576 votes for Do You Want a Gears Collection? And yes, Love Gears wins the poll at 64%. And no, Let's Move On is at 36%. So yeah, 600 people want another Gears. The majority of them, that's the case. They definitely want another Gears. Okay.
This is good, man.
So let's briefly talk about the stuff we've been playing, because I've been playing some games. Finally, stuff I want to play, stuff I'm super excited for coming out next week. I finished Callisto Protocol. I only had about 2 hours left after we did the podcast, so I went and I beat it. Still sort of feel 6.5 maybe 7 out of 10. Didn't really think it was all that. Not surprised it underperformed, at least according to some of the projections or whatever. You know what? And I'm even sitting here being like, I don't really need a sequel.
For Callisto?
Yeah, I'm not really. The game to me wasn't. It just wasn't one of those things where I finished it and I'm like, damn, give me the next game immediately. But then again, I think about it like, well, okay, you have the first game, you have the skeleton. Maybe you could make all those improvements and it could be something that I thought this game was going to be. It's just, at the end of the day, I just didn't really care for the melee focus stuff and didn't care for the dodging aspect. I think my expectations sort of ruined my enjoyment of it because I was expecting something greater than what I got. And maybe if I didn't have any, I would appreciate it for what the game was. But I usually play a game and I finish it. It's like the books I read. I know a lot of people DNF books, but I never really do. I always finish something. So I always picked up a game and finished it. But yeah, 6.5, 7. Did not finish.
DNF?
DNF.
What is that like? Is that like book community?
Yeah. When you DNF a series, bro. What are you laughing about?
This is funny.
Okay.
That's cute.
Okay.
Cute. DNF.
DNF.
I DNF'd Elden Ring. Shit.
I also finished Somerville, which I finally got around to playing. Another game that I had expectations for based on the pedigree of the people making it. You know, someone from the Inside team, the Limbo team, went and helped on that game. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. It was more like there's just something about Limbo and Inside with their platforming and puzzle solving that is just so sublime and so perfect that when you sort of have a similar game that isn't like platforming based but more 3D puzzle based, it sort of loses some of its magic. And it's like in this one, and the thing I really liked most about this game was the sci-fi aspect. Like aliens are invading, and your family is kind of gone, your wife and your kids, and so you have your dog, and you're kind of like looking for them while you're avoiding the aliens, and you have like a power, and the power turns this alien stuff into like sludge or hardens it. So a lot of the puzzles in the game are based around like light and melting this alien sludge. So like the puzzle solving didn't feel like, none of the times I solved any of the puzzles did I be like, aha, eureka, I feel so smart for doing this. It was more just kind of going through the motions for me rather than like, yeah, even though I enjoyed it because of the story it was trying to tell and like the sci-fi elements, which I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. It was short enough where it was like, yeah, I am a nerd. It was like 3.5 hours, so it was like, didn't really overstay its welcome. But the shift to 3D, movement based, just more puzzle orientated, I felt weakened the game a little bit. But I'd recommend it. It's on Game Pass for people that want to check it out. And then I'm currently playing Evil West.
How's that going for you?
It's enjoyable. It's not like amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not bad. It's enjoyable. It definitely feels like a throwback to the 360 gen. This feels like something that easily it could have come out in like 2008. A simple linear game, you know, with your guns and your abilities. A horrible story that doesn't even matter, with voice acting that is awful from like C-tier actors. And you just kind of just following the path. They do that thing where it's like, here's some enemies, and then they throw a whole bunch of enemies at you alongside a huge enemy. So like it gets a little bit difficult, mainly based on how all the they throw all the different ads at you, and then they have all these different perks and things. It's basically a game where you're in this alternate universe where vampires exist in like the U.S. and you're like part of this U.S. group that basically fights vampires. But there are some things I like. I feel like the shooting is on point. Like it always feels really good because you have a rifle, you have your revolver, and you have your gauntlet, and the gauntlet's the melee stuff. And the melee stuff isn't really very satisfying. You do it so much where it kind of loses its luster. But I always kind of felt like the rifle, anytime you use that and you shoot the weak points, it always felt good to pop people's heads. But there's this kind of weird aspect to the game where you're fighting these like vampires and you use a lot of like the melee combat, but then there's some levels where you're fighting gunslingers, and those parts of the game are so much better than the parts where you're doing the melee attacks. The game felt so much better when like it was like 5 gunslingers and they're trying to shoot you and you're just taking those guys out, versus like here's some regular vampires that you punch and do stuff with. Like I was like, oh man, it almost feels like they made the wrong game. Like you should have made a game where you're fighting the gunslingers rather than like a whole game like fighting these vampires. But you know, I'm enjoying it for what it is. I'm basically trying to like kill some time waiting for Dead Space on Friday, and I got some games that I passed up. So that's what I've been playing recently. And for anybody wondering, the book I'm currently reading is The Trouble with Peace, which is Joe Abercrombie novel. It's set in the First Law world. I think it's book, what is it? What would that be? 3, 6. This is like book 9 in the First Law world, but book 2 in the Age of Madness trilogy. And man, stuff is going down in this book. Oh man, stuff's going down. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Can't wait to finish it so I can get to the Wisdom of Crowds. And then after that, I don't know, my next series might be Children of Time. There's some books I want to get to, but yeah, that's what I've been doing. So, what have you been up to? Just books. Just more World of Warcraft. Is that what
Actually,
you're doing?
no.
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 Okay.
For once, the World of Warcraft addiction is subsiding because I pretty much exhausted all the content now. Done the raid, got the gear I wanted, so kind of waiting for the next update. And they're updating it in like 2 weeks. Like the updates are coming in really thick and fast. They've really turned Warcraft around, man. Like seriously. But anyway, the game I've actually been playing a lot this week is Monster Hunter Rise. Believe it or not. It's broken. It's broken my addiction because, dude, this game is just pretty fantastic. You know, it's the Switch. It's a Switch game at the end of the day, but they've done a lot to bring it up to par for Xbox. You know, it's lovely, smooth frame rate, unlike the Switch version, which was barely playable, and crisp 4K resolution and stuff like that. It's not as photorealistic as Monster Hunter World was, but it's really scratching the Monster Hunter itch because it is Monster Hunter. You know, I'm waiting for Monster Hunter World 2, which will obviously be, you know, the photorealism and, you know, all the bells and whistles. This feels like a nice little, you know, almost like a little dessert of Monster Hunter while I wait for the main course. Yeah, I'm having appetizer. That's the one you have before. Like, who eats dessert first? Sometimes I eat dessert first, but yeah. I'm loving it. It's really good. There's some bugs, though. The multiplayer stuff is really broken. There's a lot of people complaining about it on Reddit. Going to write about it this weekend, try and bring some attention to it because I want to fix it. Can't connect to anyone very easily. It's like a pain because it's all peer-to-peer. There's no dedicated servers, of course, and all the issues that come along with that. Very, very irritating. Hoping they fix that very, very soon because, you know, I want to be able to bloody well play it, you know, but yeah.
Are you playing it right now?
Mostly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can hear you playing it. I'm sure everybody can hear you playing it.
I really need to get a noise gate for this mic, but
Don Otaku says bullshit, Jazz. Monster Hunter Rise was one of the most stable games on the Switch. I don't believe you actually played it. You're getting called out there, bro.
It is one of the most stable games on the Switch, but that's a low bar, man. It's a low bar. I don't play games that are like that anymore. That are Switch games. I just can't do it, man. I'm so over Switch. I was playing it and just thinking this should be 60 frames a second. Look, a game that looks like this should be 60 frames a second. That's where I'm at right now. And yeah, it was stable on Switch. And honestly, it's quite honestly a testament to Capcom's ability that they were able to get a game that's sort of like as I don't know what you call it, as complex really as this, while also like managing to not make the Switch turn into a toaster oven, you know. So yeah, while it is one of the better games on the Switch, I still don't want to play this on the Switch. I wanted to play on my Xbox, and I kind of knew it was going to come to Xbox. Everyone knew it was going to come, so I just thought, yeah, screw it, I'll just wait. I will literally just wait and bide my time. And lo and behold, it's not only here on the Xbox, but it's also on Game Pass. So I didn't even have to buy it, you know. So yeah, unlike I did buy the Switch version, which I bought the Switch version and I couldn't play it because I was just like, I'm just done with the Switch. I'm just over the Switch. Over the Switch. And speaking of the Switch, did you see that Nintendo has increased production of the Switch this year? Which is sort of, again, dashing hopes that they will ever make a new one.
Oh, they'll make a new one. But, I mean, like, I think the idea of the new one coming sometime early next year is out the window. I think you're probably...
Yeah, of course they're going to make a new one eventually.
Yeah, I think maybe end of 2024.
1,000 years.
I think... so they launched their new system in March of 2017, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, maybe they'll just copy that and launch Switch 2 March of 2024, right? But I think you're probably more looking at like end of the year, maybe when like Super Mario Odyssey 2 could be a launch game, and maybe you're looking at like Switch 2 like end of like November of 2024. And so if that's the case, then it's not makes sense that they would be making more Switches now if like next gen for them is basically 2 years away almost, right? So But then again, maybe it is 2025. I mean, Switch is still selling. It's still the best-selling console this past MPD, best-selling console units-wise. I don't think it's really slowing down. Will it pass the PS2 record? I mean, it's an incredibly successful system. Also, probably incredibly profitable for Nintendo to make. So not that surprising that they would. I think some hardcore people really wanted that Switch Pro so they could play games at a better, higher resolution, better frame rate, or just a brand new system in general, instead of like being stuck on that ancient hardware. But yeah, that's enough Nintendo talk. It's creeping me out. Creeping me out a little bit. I got the willies right now.
Oh man.
So
Rand being toxic on the Switch, man. I'm sort of tired. I'll come back to the Switch when they bring me, Metroid stuff again. But even that, when I was playing Metroid Dread, I was like, man, this Metroid Dread even had like these sections that would just slow down and chug, and it's just like, man, this system ain't it, man. System ain't it. Now I got a Steam Deck as well, which kind of puts the Switch to shame. Yeah, it's more expensive, but yeah, bring out that Switch Pro. I will literally buy one as long as it's all backwards compatible. Then.
Well, ranting Greek gamer says, note to Jez with all respect. Wait till you get to the grinding aspect of Monster Hunter Horizon. You won't like it as much. It gets pretty repetitive after some point.
You're talking to someone who's got 1,000 hours in Monster Hunter World. I am no stranger to grinding in this kind of game. I like it. It's therapeutic, and yeah, I don't really play these games to think too hard about it. I just kind of play them. I play them to grind. I mean, they're all kind of like that in some respect. And I'm not expecting Rise to blow me away or become my favorite entry in the series. Like even now, like when I'm playing it, I'm just like, it's not as good as World. It's clearly not as good as World, but that's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with it, and it's on Game Pass. So there's nothing else I really want to play right now. I'm kind of just waiting for Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space.
Do we have the Monster Hunter Rise gameplay on?
Yeah, the Monster Hunter Rise gameplay's up, indeed, so people can see it. Jez, so what's going on? Before we get to the Xbox Layoffs off, which coming real soon, there's like 2 more topics I want to hit before we get to that. Forspoken, what's going on? What's Square Enix doing with these reviews, brah? It doesn't seem like I've seen VGC say they don't got reviews. SkillUp got denied. Windows Central got denied. Bunch of websites are posting that they're. What's going on with Forspoken and their reviews? You got any info? What's going on?
Oh no, you can never tell. I mean, you never nobody expects to, be entitled to a review, but it's kind of sus when VGC and, SkillUp and, a lot of these sort of big name reviewers, like Windows Central, we get denied review requests all the time. And it's just kind of like, well, whatever, it is what it is. We're not a big site known for reviews, the reviews that do well for Windows Central are mainly flagship Xbox games, But anyway, it's not a big surprise I wouldn't get Forspoken code. But SkillUp and VGC, a little bit more surprised about that. And it kind of makes you think, like, what are they trying to do here? Are they hiding something? And it's weird because I know some people that did get reviews from very small channels. Really? Now, yeah. So if you were writing for a small channel, if you were a small YouTuber and you were being prioritized for a code for Forspoken, but big outlets weren't, what would your thought process be about why marketing chose to do it that way?
Because they think
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying what
because they think I would be more swayed that I got it early and would want to continue my relationship with Square, so I'd be more likely to give it a better review.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would have assumed. Smaller channel, maybe a bit more grateful. Maybe they'll be a little bit kinder to the game. But yeah, it looks like a managed reviews period. Whereas, like, when other games, they give you a review code really early, and they're like, yeah, go nuts, and you've got the game for like months, and you can test it to your heart's content and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like, oh yeah, they're really confident with this. But other reviews, when it's like, oh sorry, codes are really limited, It's like, oh, these digital copies that you can make infinite codes of are limited. Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah.
Such a
That's
shame.
basically like, we just don't want you to have the game. So,
Yeah.
you know, Geeky Nurse says, don't trust smaller channels. No, you trust who if you watch that person's reviews and they're always honest, then trust them. I'm just saying from PR's perspective, they might think smaller channels would be more susceptible. Say the word for me. Susceptible to being grateful. Where like Kotaku or VGC or Windows Central, they wouldn't be. They're just going to tell you at least what they think. Where, maybe somebody else might be like, well, they gave it to me, I'm going to give it an 8 when I really should give it a 7 or lower or something. It's something that happens, right? Detective C says he was told you will get a review code on the day of launch, would not provide prior to the date. And that's probably true for a lot, which means they're probably worried about review scores. It is a new IP after all. They probably want to protect it. But yeah, that's sort of the thing when I saw this. I was just like, oh, they're worried about review scores, right?
Yeah.
Because they feel like if they gave it to everybody and it came in at like a 65 meta, then you'd have a situation where the game probably doesn't do well and it's a dead new IP. So what they're going to do is they're going to mitigate it and give it to people who they think might rate it higher. So when the reviews come out, it might be a more appealing 70, 80 game rather than a lower one, So
yeah,
we'll see. Jez, I think last week we talked a little bit about, maybe it wasn't last week, but this was about Fallout, about when you expect the next Fallout to come and stuff and all those sort of things. And really briefly, I wanted to talk to you about Obsidian boss Fergus would love to make another Fallout. He talked about this again, Jez.
Yeah, and this is the second time he said this in an interview where Fergus, who's the CEO of Obsidian, obviously they make Avowed, and they made Fallout New Vegas, which is widely regarded by many as the best Fallout game, the best modern Fallout game.
Now,
so, yeah, he said.
Well, I'll read you what he said, but we're talking about it because, Starfield's coming out this year. They already said Elder Scrolls is their next game, which 4 or 5 years, 2027, 2028. I mean, that'd be a good time for a new console. Imagine a new console launching with a new Elder Scrolls. That'd be pretty big. But then it's like, man, how long do Fallout fans have to wait, right? Fallout 4 came out in 2015. Fallout 76 really ruined the reputation of Bethesda for a lot of people. And that came out in, 2019? 2018? What year was that, Chaz? Do you remember?
For 76?
Yeah, Fallout 76.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head either.
Fallout 4 was 2015.
Yeah, 2019. There's, for whatever reason, I think it's 2019. I'm sure chat will correct me, but people are wondering, hey, when's the next Fallout game? Because if Bethesda's doing Elder Scrolls, then Fallout 5, it's like 2030, 2032 before we get another Fallout game. But Microsoft does own Obsidian. They did do Fallout New Vegas, and Fergus is talking about it again. And he says, we're not working on Fallout, and we haven't even talked about what it would be. Our plate is pretty full with Avowed, Grounded, and Outer Worlds 2. I don't know when we're going to start talking about new games, maybe towards the end of next year. We just have to see what's going on. That's the best way to say it. There's nothing in the plans, nothing on the piece of paper that says that. But I'll stick to what I said. I would love to make another Fallout before I retire. I don't know when that is. I don't have a date on my retirement. It's funny, you can say I'm already 52 or only 52. It's one of those two depending on the day. My hope is that'll happen, but we'll have to wait and see. So,
yeah, I think it's pretty obvious to me that this is how it's going to go down. It's going to be Obsidian.
Chat's saying 2018 for Fallout 76, by the way.
Yeah. It's going to be Obsidian. It's going to be Obsidian making the next Fallout. I would bet money on that. I would bet money on it.
Well, Josh Sawyer also said, I love Fallout. I love the setting. I can see myself working in it again, but we'll see where the future takes me. He said that to Kind of Funny Games.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? You think we'll see a new Fallout game from Obsidian before we see Fallout 5? Is this it's one of those things where Fallout fans are just gonna have to wait a little bit?
I think Obsidian makes Fallout 5.
You think Obsidian makes Fallout 5? Okay.
I think maybe after they ship out Worlds, maybe they just go all in, and the whole studio decides to pitch in and make Fallout 5 a true Fallout sequel. Because I think Obsidian could do it. I think they could. If all of them together, it'd be amazing. So I think that happened with Todd Howard, maybe giving some oversight, maybe, Bethesda helping them a little bit on the engine side. Josh Sawyer leading narrative. It'd be great. I think it'll happen, man. Obsidian will make Fallout 5. That's my prediction.
Okay. And what else we got here? I'm going to get back to my notes. So yeah, I think, I don't know if it'll be Fallout 5 because I think Todd's going to do that. And that'll be the game. I was going to say that'd be the game Todd retires on, but that's so long from now. I think Elder Scrolls 6 will be the game Todd retires on. But either way, I think the next Fallout game we get is from Obsidian. But let's talk about, the big news story from the week. So if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Here we go, because this is multifaceted. Tech is basically laying off a whole bunch of people. We talked a little bit about it. All these companies hired up for the pandemic, they were all seeing record profits. Now the pandemic is over. Those profits are down, and they need to cut jobs because they need to appease Wall Street and all those. And, one of the things you do is get rid of employees, which is awful because I've been laid off in my life when I used to work construction. Not even when the job was finished, because when I worked for Butts Electric, not even when the job was finished, because sometimes the job would finish, you'd get laid off, right? But just like, hey, this job didn't go through, and now we don't got anything for you, and see you later, right? And it's just, it sucks. Like, now you're just, what am I gonna do? And granted, I was in my mid-20s, I didn't have a home or mortgage to worry about, or kids or anything like that. But so when you hear the things of 10,000 people get laid off from Microsoft, 11,000 people get laid off from Meta, 18,000 people get laid off from Amazon, and then what was it, 11,000 or whatever it is for Google today. It's just, you see those numbers, but then it's sort of just that's a lot, but it doesn't really encompass the loss that people have. Those are all a person who's just had their life upended. And it's the worst thing you can possibly imagine, especially, I've seen stories of I just moved there. I uprooted my family, moved over there and thought everything was good. And now, 6 months later, you're just gone, right? Now I got to go find a new job. So that happened. But when the news hit that they were going to lay off 10,000 people, it wasn't really sure that it would touch Xbox because basically, it was more mentioned that it would be on the engineering side, stuff like that. But then word came down from Jason Schreier that 343 and Bethesda was hit, even some people from Coalition as well. And that sort of, started the talk around the future of Halo and 343 and everything, right? But before that, I do see news just broke. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, no.
But Xbox's Phil Spencer's email to staff about the layoffs just was published.
Oh, by The Verge?
I don't know if, I'm seeing it from Kotaku. Xbox's Phil Spencer says Microsoft's 10K layoff hurts in the email to staff. So I figured we'd read this and then talk about everything. So I guess this is what Phil said in an email to employees. Phil said, "This has been a difficult week across Microsoft and here inside our teams. Not that many of the one-to-one and team conversations have happened, and I want to take a moment to reiterate the message that you heard from your leaders. This is a challenging moment in our business, and this week's actions were painful choices. The gaming leadership team had to make decisions that we felt set us up for the long-term success of our products and businesses, but the individual results of those seasons are real. I know that hurts. Thank you for supporting our colleagues as they process these changes. Over the coming weeks, we will have many opportunities to connect and answer your questions, including the monthly gaming update next week for teams who attend that meeting, and I'm in close contact with teams at ZeniMax to provide support. The Gamership leadership team and I are committed to being as transparent as we can. Moving forward with ambiguity is challenging, but I am confident that together we will get through this difficult moment in time. Xbox has a long history of success thanks to the work you do in the service of players, creators, and each other. Your work is so deeply appreciated and valued in these times of change and is integral to our business momentum. I am confident in our future and proud to be a part of this team, but also conscious that this is a challenging time, and I want to thank you for everything you do here, Phil. So that's what Phil had to say about the layoffs.
Yeah.
But it seems, at least on the Xbox side, that 343 was hit the hardest, it looks like.
Yes. Well, 60 out of 10,000.
Well, isn't the number more up to like 130? At least I've seen some people talking about that, or a third of the studio. It seems some reports.
Well, I suppose contractors count too, I guess. But yeah, I mean, 343 was notable. I mean, it's probably fair to say they were notably impacted by the layoffs, and I think it's notable because they are the stewards of the flagship IP, Halo, supposedly, and all that kind of stuff. And Halo's been under a microscope because of the handling of Halo Infinite, and probably to the TV show to some degree. Given how much praise the Last of Us TV show is winning, and how mixed to negative people have been about the Halo TV show. It's been a ride. It's been a wild ride, and I think it's all come to a head this year. As we move out of the boom time and we head towards recession, it's the time in the business cycle, to really examine what the future is going to look like, and restructure where is appropriate. For a long time, people have been calling out for Halo's leadership to be altered and Halo's direction to be altered. And last summer, we got Halo's leadership altered. And with these restructurings, you could say that they're probably looking at, upending how they, view Halo's future, right? Now, I just want to note in chat, someone said that Jason Schreier said via his sources, there's no plans for 343 to stop being the main studio for Halo. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation, and there's been a lot of so-called insiders making claims about Halo and 343, a lot of which just don't line up with what I've heard and what I'm going to talk about on the show today. Via multiple sources, both past and present members of the studio, with regards to some of this stuff. And I think that it's hard to find the truth, because there's a lot of bitterness, obviously, and there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of emotion, and there's also a lot of miscommunication between the different teams there. What one team knows, another team doesn't necessarily know, because the studio was set up in a weird way, kind of like the Ubisoft way, where everyone's kind of siloed and can't communicate with each other, and they're on separate NDAs and all that kind of stuff. It just hasn't been run very well. And we all knew that. We all knew that from the finished product. So it's not really any secret now. It's all out there that the situation at 343 has been dire. It's been dire, and fans deserve better, but also the employees who work there deserve better. And the employees who laid off deserve better, but that's a whole other discussion. What is happening with 343, I suppose, is the first question about these layoffs. Before we get into what does this mean for Xbox's future and their 2023 and all that, is Xbox doomed, and the real doom and gloom that's flying around out there. Let's talk about 343 first, at least. So, from what I've heard, yeah, the campaign team from, and you can look this up yourselves. You just browse LinkedIn, and people have been analyzing LinkedIn posts and analyzing the types of roles that have been eliminated and stuff like that. A lot of the cuts have fallen on campaign, single player kind of content teams, right? Narrative and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of paints a picture of, which led to some people saying stuff like, well, that's it, they're never going to make any campaign content anymore. And then we had these rumors that like the campaign content had been cancelled, like the Halo the Endless has been cancelled, and all this kind of stuff has been cancelled and killed and stuff like that. But Rand, from what I've heard, there was never any Halo the Endless. There was never any campaign DLC. It hasn't been in development. There is no campaign development that's been, nobody's been working on campaign development. From what I've been told, campaign development for DLC or Halo Infinite and whatever else, all of that kind of revolved around. Am I disconnected? My Wi-Fi symbol just flashed on my computer. Oh, that worried me. If I'm still here, maybe I'll get disconnected in a second. Hopefully not. But anyway, from what I've heard, there was never any campaigns DLC in development, nor was it planned. And like someone in chat saying, so they lied to us again. Like, did they ever say that they were making campaign DLC? People said things like, we're working on the next narrative, we're working on what's next for Halo. Like, they always used very, very, very vague language. I always use very vague language when describing, Halo. Narrative content can mean narrative content for the Battle Royale, which is supposedly still coming. Narrative content can mean like, those little story vignettes at the start of a season and stuff like that, which people didn't like. That kind of stuff. That's what character artists have been working on. They haven't been working on the DLC. They've been working on that kind of stuff for the live service. It's been all hands on deck, making the live service, making it, be what it needed to be to compete with the Apex Legends and the Fortnites and the wherever else's of the world. Maybe there was sort of like a high level idea of, we'll work on campaign DLC if we can get all our T's crossed and our I's dotted with the multiplayer. But campaign DLC was never sort of a thing beyond conversations, from what I've been told. And the Halo the Endless was literally just the trademark. That's all it was, and it was never anything more than a trademark. So that's kind of the first thing. Like, people saying that the campaign DLC was cancelled and stuff, that just wasn't accurate. Like, it wasn't. It was not cancelled because it was never a thing. Now, with regards to what's coming next, now there's a lot of speculation about this, because it does seem like a lot of the cuts were oriented around campaign kind of content, story content, and the kind of stuff you would need to put together a campaign, which has led to speculation that maybe 343 won't make Halo campaigns anymore. We're just going to be multiplayer Halo in perpetuity, and maybe another studio will make campaign content. Maybe a lot of people have been throwing around Certain Affinity as a possibility, which is personally like the way I think it's probably going to end up. And I don't know if even Microsoft has a plan for what they're doing right now with Halo's future. Whether they are planning to outsource things, whether they are sort of like, reorganizing to deliver more Halo Infinite story content with a third party, maybe Certain Affinity, maybe another studio. There's other studios that have worked on Halo as well. Maybe they could get one of Microsoft's internal studios to do campaign content, if they're not, once they're finished up with other projects and stuff. I think they're in a position of flux right now, where they're sort of trying to figure out what is next, really, with what they've got and stuff like that. So, Joseph Staten, obviously, he managed to get Halo out of the door, and he has now returned to global publishing and no longer will be working on the Halo franchise and stuff like that. And the Halo franchise is now Peter what's his name? Peter Hintz. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's like old school EA. Or if you look at his LinkedIn, he worked at EA and he worked on a lot of EA's sort of some of EA's classic franchises. So, but the dude, he has delivered, in the past. So it's not a case of like we need to be in full doom and gloom mode right now. There's still there's a lot of, obviously Halo is a very rich universe with a huge passionate fan base, and Microsoft isn't just going to shelve Halo. Like, as much as I joke about it on the show that they should shelve Halo, they're not just going to throw it away. They're not going to throw it away. Of course they're not going to throw it away. But for years now, and like you guys know this, everyone knows this, the Halo franchise has been mismanaged. It's been mismanaged by a combination of miscommunication and just everything, ineptitude, miscommunication, and maybe even trying to do too much with too little and stuff like that. Inefficient use of resources and pretty much everything. The whole studio needs a culture change, which has meant clearing house to some degree, especially with regards to Bonnie Ross and some other high ranking peeps, So that kind of leads us to what's next. I think personally we'll probably hear from 343 themselves soon, because they've got to see all the speculation and rumors going around. They've got to be thinking like we've got to put some, we've got to put something out there to sort of explain our current position and be a little bit more transparent, because that's the thing we don't have right now. As for fans, we don't have transparency about what they're doing with Halo. And the focus should be on those who's laid off, in the immediate short term, and that's probably what's happening. And in this first round of layoffs, there might even be more layoffs to come, because they're laying off 10,000 people, and I don't think they've laid off 10,000 people yet. There's probably more to come, right? Yeah, so there's going to be more rounds of layoffs, and God knows what else is gonna be on the horizon. So the focus right now should be on those who are laid off and that kind of thing. It's kind of like we don't their priority is probably elsewhere right now. But I think very soon they'll probably come out with statements to sort of waylay some of the bigger concerns about the franchise and where they're going to go with it, and what they're going to do next, and maybe put to bed some of these rumors about them no longer working on Halo as a single player entity and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's are you talking, Ren? No, I mean, people can't hear you on the stream.
Yeah,
Can
I accidentally muted myself, but I only talk for a minute. I'll just repeat myself because it wasn't that much. I apologize, because Shakespeare was barking, and I didn't want that to overshadow what Jez was saying. So, I was saying that the rumors that had been being spread, as Xbox rumors tend to do, right? Remember we talked about the Fable rumor and switching engines, and it just seems like rumors spread on the Xbox side. But this one took a lot of people were like, okay, was that the campaign DLC had been scrapped, which you're saying isn't true because it never existed in the first place. Which I don't know what's worse, to be honest with you. I don't know if campaign DLC being scrapped is worse than campaign DLC never being in the works at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's like, it sort of felt like we were being like, oh, you got a 10-year plan. Everybody sort of expects DLC for the way at least the campaign ended. And it's like, oh, they got to be making stuff. They trademarked the endless. And now you're saying, as well as Jason Schreier, I think you even put it out there before, Jason, that no, there is no campaign DLC because it never existed in the first place. So it's like tough to say which one's like worse, like that it was cut or that it never existed. But basically, the rumor was that essentially that 343 would become a publisher, very much like World's Edge, who handles the Age of Empires stuff, where they contract third-party developers to make games in the Age of Empires universe, and that 343 would essentially become the same, and that they would just take pitches and publish Halo games from third-party developers. But I thought that was weird considering how many people are still at 343. It's like you don't need that many people if you're just a publishing firm. And to your knowledge, is that true? Because it didn't sound true to me when that was all going around. What about that aspect of the rumor of 343 becoming a publisher, essentially?
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think like they might outsource. I can see them outsourcing a campaign maybe and stuff like that. But I think 343 is definitely still going to be the lead when it comes to especially multiplayer and the design of the game and the engine and that kind of stuff, potentially. I think that's probably the case. I don't think they'll become a publisher in the way that World's Edge is, because World's Edge is a very small team, and they do have designers in-house at World's Edge, but Relic has done the lion's share of development on Age of Empires 4 and continues to do the development on Age of Empires 4. So yeah, I don't think they'll become a publisher based on what I'm hearing. But I do think the layoffs have been targeted very specifically around the single player content. Maybe there's a view that maybe Certain Affinity has a better pitch for what Halo's campaign could look like. There has to be a back to basics approach for Halo. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you think, Rand, but I don't think the open world format works for Halo.
I mean, I thought I thought the campaign was a lot of fun. I thought maybe the story aspect let it down a little bit, because I thought there was a more interesting story that you could tell in Halo Infinite, and they sort of basically scrapped it all. Fast forward because of fan backlash from Halo 5. But I was really looking forward to like evil Cortana, and you'd be fighting and all the sort of things, and they were just like, no, fast forward, boom, boom, boom. And the open world, I thought, was very fun to play around in, and I was anticipating like new areas to explore. I know people bring it up, and it's kind of like people get like, but like different biomes, right? Like the open world was just that kind of Pacific Northwest with a bunch of green pine trees. I thought it'd be cool, but like, okay, what if you get a DLC in like the snow area, or DLC in the desert area, or DLC here? And the way they ended the game was kind of like, okay, well, there's going to be more adventures and stuff like that. Obviously the Endless are coming. But no, I mean, I think it all comes back down to leadership at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
We have like quotes here from Patrick Wren, who worked for 343 for 8 years and was senior multiplayer designer in Halo Infinite before he moved to Respawn to work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. He said the layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. I mean, can't really argue with that. The reason for both of these things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite. Development causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. Tyler Owens also said, as a Halo fan, I'm really tired of Microsoft business practices and policies solely killing the thing I love. Between the contracting policies they abuse for tax incentives and layoffs in the face of gigantic profits and executive bonuses, they set Halo up for failure. And he worked for 343 during the development of Halo 5 and studio operations role. And then, Nick, Sir Ironwolf, he said as well, don't forget the heavy reliance on contractors, vendors, and that messed up system. I would have loved to have stayed on the team if I could have and worked my way up. Still one of my favorite jobs. And Patrick Wren said, oh man, the contract stuff is a whole other can of worms that pisses me off. So many amazing people and talent just completely disappeared. So to me, this is all just poor planning, poor leadership, incompetent leadership. And it still boggles my mind that this happened, right? that you essentially fumble the bag on your biggest flagship IP. Well, it may not be the biggest anymore. We know it's Minecraft. But at one point, I mean, Halo made Xbox. Halo is here because of Xbox, right? Xbox is here because of Halo, right?
I saw some people bringing up an old Phil quote where he said,
"Yeah,
if we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with
Xbox." Yes. I remember that quote. So to see Halo Infinite and to see like the devs coming out and being like they love the game, they wanted to make something good, but they couldn't because the leadership, whether or not it was just like poor planning or they didn't do things like, and I'm not talking about just leadership at 343, right? People have been asking for Bonnie to be gone for a long time. She left. People underneath her that she was friend, like they're gone too. I'm saying this goes up to the top. Like this goes up to Phil. And I love Phil. And Phil's my dude and will always be my dude, but he deserves some of the blame. So does Matt Booty. You can't just pawn this off on just the leadership of 343 because Phil and Matt have their backs. And I think one of Phil's defining character traits is that he's very loyal to the people and his friends. And I think maybe that loyalty hurt Halo in this situation by supporting the people at the studio longer than they should have. I'm not so this could be a situation where action up top, it wasn't really action up top. It was inaction that hurt Halo from the executive leadership team at Microsoft, where they should have stepped in earlier and righted the ship instead of waiting for this point to get to where it was. Because now you have the situation where who knows about the future of Halo? And we shouldn't be talking about this. We shouldn't be questioning about what's going on with the future of Halo and, all these sort of things.
Can you imagine talking about the future of Mario or Pokemon?
Exactly. The future. You wouldn't be having these discussions with Nintendo. But here we are. 343 seems like it's a studio that's been mismanaged for a long time. And I feel like Phil stuck with Bonnie and the people there way longer than they should have. And I understand why. Probably because Halo 4 and Halo 5 were making oodles of money. This is the problem I really think that happened. Was that Halo 4 and Halo 5 were very successful games. And Halo Infinite, I hate to say it, is probably a failure in every sense of the word. But the one that's probably most important to Microsoft was that it's a financial failure, right? You basically change how the game was sold. You're no longer doing boss products, or at least that's the majority of the revenue like it used to be, or it was all. Now we're going to take our most popular mode that people would buy Halo for, and we're going to give it free to play. Because it needs to be free to play, because that's just the current climate of multiplayer games. Understandable. But I could tell you a year after the game launched that they didn't plan on having only 5,000 daily players on Steam or being number 20 on the Xbox player charts. There's not enough people playing that game to sustain the studio with microtransactions and stuff, right? So this is what happens. This is kind of what it looks like when you put out a bomb, folks. Games are so expensive. They take so long to make, and when you put out something like this that doesn't meet any of the financial requirements that Microsoft demands, you're going to have changes at your studio. And we've already seen the changes. We saw the upper leadership at 343 get removed and new people put in place, and now you're seeing, them restructuring and getting rid of people who worked on the campaign and art and stuff, because it's like, well, we don't need this because we're not doing it. And I'm still kind of shocked because it's just, there's that question of like that it seems to always play Xbox, is that can Xbox manage these IPs properly? That's the concern that some people have. And now you're trying to acquire Activision Blizzard, and you're trying to get Call of Duty, and now people can just throw it at Phil's face and Xbox's face, being like, you couldn't manage Halo properly. How are you possibly going to be able to manage Call of Duty properly? And it's a fair question, because Halo's been mismanaged you can make the argument ever since Bungie left. They didn't do anything because it made them money. It made them a lot of money. But now, well, it's not. And this also goes back to the idea of there was this split in the community, if you remember, when the game got delayed the first time. And then they were like, oh, well, co-op and Forge aren't coming. They're coming later, right? And there was a clear divide in the community. Some people were like, no, delay the game a second time. delay the game until the game is complete and ready to roll. And there was the other half of the community that were like, no. Release this game immediately. Don't delay it a second time. I want to play the campaign now. Everybody who's asking for it delayed is selfish. You remember these conversations?
Yeah, we did polls about it.
Release it now. I want it released now. Everybody who's asking for it delayed is selfish. I don't care about co-op. I don't care about Forge. Give me the game, right? Well, you got what you wished for. Everybody that was screaming from the rooftops about not delaying it a second time, you got what you wished for, and it's a monkey paws wish. Because I think Halo Infinite would probably have been a better place if it launched a complete package. If they took the extra time to make sure that Forge was working day one and was integrated in the matchmaking playlist, if co-op was there, if they had actual live service elements all planned and ready to go, instead of clearly sacrificing that to launch the title, I think Halo Infinite might be in a better place. Maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe all the people turned off on the microtransaction, stuff that they were doing would still be pissed off. But it could be in a better place. But I hope everybody that complained from the top, on social media and in podcasts that they need to release it now because that's what's best for Halo. I hope they're happy because this is what happens. You got what you wanted. Sometimes you have to be careful for what you wish for. So
yeah, I mean, maybe I'll be, I've been saying like I want Microsoft to own ABK because I want StarCraft and stuff like that. Maybe I should be careful what I wish for as well.
Yeah, be careful
because
what
honestly,
you wish for.
World of Warcraft's in a really good place right now. If Microsoft screws that off, I'm gonna be like, no, I wished for the wrong thing. I got my monkey paw wish.
Yeah,
because the Xbox has a lot to prove, but.
Well, yeah, shout out to Killantis before I missed this for becoming this member of the channel. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'm at a shock because Halo is what made Xbox. And to see it flounder like this, to see it just, you have all these devs basically blaming management, which, maybe they're dissatisfied. But I sort of feel like that's the truth, is what's like, management seemed to be the problems. They didn't know what they wanted, or they stopped and started, and all these different roadblocks they put up. And then you have the upper management and Microsoft enabling them to a certain degree, instead of, Microsoft loves to talk about their hands-off approach. Well, maybe it's one of those things where this studio needed to be meddled with, right? Sometimes the hands-off approach works for other studios, and sometimes it doesn't work. It's like that approach doesn't work for everything. Sometimes you need a micromanager to get things done. And this is going to be one of the situations where maybe that that didn't work out in this case, and it's exacerbated because they waited too long to change anything, and now it's just too late. Now it's like Halo is probably at the lowest point possible, and then you have people like, does Halo even matter in 2023? You're gonna have that conversation. Like, is it like, even if Halo launched perfect, would it have still seen a decline? Because is Halo and arena shooters even something that people want to play in 2023? Against the battle royales of the worlds and the other type of multiplayers? And the answer to that question is, I don't know. Maybe people have moved on. Maybe Halo, is a lesser tier franchise now, and you need to, slim down 343 to represent the newer reality that Halo faces. I don't know the answers to those questions. But I know Microsoft's not going to sit by and just let let Halo just be dormant. They're going to try to do everything they're going to do, and I agree with you. I agree that you're going to have 343. They're going to double down on the multiplayer, the live service stuff. Because as much as people who love single player would hate to hear this, in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to make 343 any money. Which it's because I want more Master Chief stories. But they're like, we need to worry about the multiplayer because that's what people are going to play, and we need to get monetization back on track. We need to get users back playing, so double down on this. And then you can essentially have Certain Affinity make a new campaign or for a new game at some point or something. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But Xbox better be careful, because if they're relying on Certain Affinity, which they're relying on them for the Battle Royale, if they're going to rely on them for the next campaign, they need to acquire them as soon as possible. Because somebody else you're kind of relying on shaky ground if you're relying on third parties once again, because we saw how that worked out for the Xbox One generation, where Microsoft was relying on third parties to release exclusives for them, right? And then they couldn't, like, you release Rise, and then you couldn't come to an agreement with Crytek for Rise 2. So basically, dead franchise. You release Sunset Overdrive, and who knows what happened between Insomniac and Xbox. But now there's no Sunset Overdrive 2 unless Sony makes it, right? Quantum Break, you said you wanted to bring back Quantum Break, and Sean Asmer retweeted you, and it was a huge thing. It was trending on Twitter. But who knows about Microsoft's relationship with Remedy? So it's like another dead franchise. All because you're relying on third parties, but third parties, their statuses change. So if you're relying on Certain Affinity to do all this work for Halo in the future, but their status could completely change tomorrow. They could be purchased by somebody who might not want them working on Halo content. And it's like, okay, well, you just lost Certain Affinity. Now what? So, like, if that's what, I agree with you, that's who they probably should, they need to buy them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's risky. It's very risky, but I mean, who'd have thought, like, because Halo Infinite launch was great. Everybody was happy. The campaign was quite good, even though I didn't like some of the storytelling. I thought the multiplayer was solid, but there was no basic live service. Like, they didn't have a plan, and it was just, well, nobody wants to play that. Nobody wants to play that when you don't have content coming, and it basically failed because of it. And the failure is all on the leadership for whatever different reasons. And it's just, you just slap your face, because how could you do this? Like, how do you fumble Halo so badly that this is what happens? And then it just opens up the other question marks, like I said. Like, can you properly manage Call of Duty? I don't know. You didn't really do Halo very well. Can you properly manage Bethesda? You should probably stay all hands off at Bethesda, but then you're still letting go of people at Bethesda, right? These are just things. I don't know, Jez. It's what do you have to say to this?
I don't know. I've already said my piece. It's just like, I think, what more can you say? It's a dead horse. We are like, Halo fans deserve better. We've been here before repeating this over and over again. And I think a lot of people are getting hung up on the fact that they called it a 10-year plan. Who said that it was a 10-year plan?
They said that.
But who? Who
343 literally said that.
But who? The individual? What individual said 10-year plan?
I mean, you know how to Google foo. Hold on. Halo Infinite 10-year plan. Okay. I don't know. Let's see.
Chris Lee said that. Chris Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris Lee said that in an interview with IGN, that it was a 10-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was just in his head.
You think it was just in his head? Wow, that's...
I think it was literally just in his head. Because they clearly did not have a 10-year plan. I think that was literally just in his head, that it was a 10-year plan. And I think, like, there was just, like, a huge amount of hyperbole. There's a huge amount of hyperbole flipping backwards and forwards about, like, what they should do with the franchise. Probably externally and internally. And Chris Lee is one of the people who's gone. And one of the impressions I get is that there was just this miscommunication between Bonnie Ross and Chris Lee, and then miscommunication between Bonnie Ross and then Matt Booty and Phil. And she had like half the information, accurate information from Chris Lee, and it just seems like a huge amount of just non-stop bad management and bad communication at the sort of top level. They need real communication and serious communication. They need the teams to be communicating, and they need transparency, and they need to not have a culture of like, we need to lie. I'm not saying lies happened, but clearly there must have been a bending of the truth for things to have gotten the way it had been. And maybe even like people lying to themselves. Maybe like leadership was like, oh, Bonnie Ross will turn it around, or Chris Lee's 10-year plan thing will pan out, and they're lying to themselves about it. it's just it's a whole ass mess, and hopefully will Halo will find its feet, and this is sort of like this whole situation is the sort of the wake up call the franchise really needs, but maybe I'm just maybe it's beyond saving, but if it is beyond saving, it really does call into question everything. It really does, because Phil said if we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with Xbox, and it makes you question everything. Like, how could they throw this much cash at 343 and Halo and still not be able to deliver, And when everyone gave Halo Infinite the benefit of the doubt because they were so desperate for Halo to be good, and it did feel like this was a springboard of something good. It was like, 10-year plan, we'll have campaign DLC, we'll have online, we'll have ongoing live service, and there'll be like the seasons will come thick and fast, and he just never did. There was no 10-year plan, and 343 never really managed the communication of that 10-year plan. They never really said, actually, the 10-year plan thing was just the thing that Chris Lee said that wasn't actually a thing.
So Tom says, how can there be miscommunication with the studio? Is the studio head in the silo? I don't understand how this is possible. So can you explain siloing for people that don't know what you're talking about?
So like siloing is just like literally that. It's like the people literally exist in silos, little teams that aren't even allowed to communicate because they have NDAs forbidding them to communicate with other parts of the team. It's Ubisoft is kind of notorious for this as well. And look at the situation Ubisoft is in. So and Microsoft's a really big company. It's a really, really big company, and 343's building is not in the main part of Redmond campus. It's sort of like off to the side. So like you have to sort of go and visit it and stuff. I don't know. It's clearly there's miscommunication. Like, how could there not have been miscommunication? Just seems like nobody really knew what they were doing, Rand, I have to be right back really quick. So
you be right back.
I'll be right back. Keep the peeps happy.
I'll keep the peeps happy. Let me get through some of these super chats that have been piling up since then. I appreciate everyone for being here. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Check out our sponsor, HelloFresh. Links in the description. You get 22 free meals from them. So it's a pretty good deal. I can't wait to try out their food next week. We have Mr. XS who says, I'd like a Gears collection as long as it's Unreal Engine 5, which, according to Special Nick, it is real. And yes, it would be an Unreal Engine 5. I would also very much, because, the Gears games were always lookers, and, it could look really good. We have Flame saying, reject Craig Spoken, return to Octopath Traveler 2. And something tells me that Forspoken's not going to review very well. I don't know. Clutch Man says, check out Level 1 Gaming. Great show, great panel. Indeed, I've been on there a couple times. Fame's put on a good show, and he has a great website. So make sure you guys go check out Level 1 Gaming. Calantis, cheers to the best Xbox podcast. Started listening in 2019. Jez, what weapon do you mainly use in Monster Hunter? Well, I'll ask Jez that when he returns, but thank you. I'm always humbled by the people that, we have 1,400 people here, 1,700 last week. Always humbled by the people that, appreciate and value mine and Jez's opinions about stuff and would spend their Friday nights or Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, or Tuesdays, or whenever you listen to this, whether it's live or later on demand, Spotify or iTunes, that like listening to the show. And then say that's their best podcast, Xbox podcast or podcast in general. Wasn't something I thought would happen when we started doing it, because we just started doing it on the whim, but it's something that really does make your day when people like what you create. Chaos Might says, Xbox laid off their employees for that Super Bowl ad. We'll see about the Super Bowl ad. I don't know. It would be really cool to see one, because that would be like, man, Microsoft is really 100% behind Starfield. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think they do that unless they know Starfield's launching soon after. So that's why I kind of just... Plus, I think we'd know if there was going to be an ad, because usually we know well and beforehand about all the companies that have ads for Super Bowls. So I think we would know. Sin Vendetta, what's going on, buddy? He says, if Halo goes multiplayer only, I will be done with Halo, and I'm sure you aren't the only one. But, multiplayer is a thing that keeps these games going, But, I mean, Halo does have a history with single player, right? It's not like Fortnite's a brand new thing. Apex Legends is a brand new thing. Like, you have a lot of these things. The Rainbow Six Siege, people were like, I'm not playing Rainbow Six because it was about the single player, right? But Halo's always had that history. It was like campaign, co-op, Forge, multiplayer. And yeah, if they don't do any more single player, I could see a lot of people being done, but I think they'll do single player. It just may not be done by 343. 343 may just be focusing on the multiplayer aspect, and then a studio like Certain Affinity could come in and essentially, do what they do. Because I can imagine, like, if there's also a part of me that wants like more Halo content. I don't know about you guys, but like I want like different genres, like a Halo horror game, like where you're up against the Flood, but you're not really a Spartan. I've always kind of imagined that as something cool, or like, the Halo lore is so expansive. Like, you don't necessarily even need Master Chief. You could do a proper Locke story set somewhere, like there's so many things you could do in the Halo universe. And I've sort of felt like 343 hasn't really fully, or even Bungie for that matter, when they were in charge, hasn't fully explored all the different things you could actually make. And maybe if this leads to like other companies wanting to do things, maybe, with the idea of, like, imagine if you're a third-party company and like 343's taking pitches for stuff, and you're like, if we have a really good pitch, and then now you're in charge and you're making the campaign, like, wouldn't you pour your like heart, your and like your soul and all the money into it? Because if you nail Halo, that could be your ticket to stardom, right? I mean, people don't remember, but Rocksteady, people look at Rocksteady before they did the Batman games, and don't remember that they were just basically a no-name studio that did like, God, I think, what was the game before they did Batman Arkham Asylum? It was some dinky game on like, I don't remember the name. I want to say State of Emergency, but I think State of Emergency was a Rockstar game. But like, that's why like nobody had any faith in Batman Arkham Asylum, because people were like, who's this Rocksteady, right? Like, yeah, people saying ODST. ODST was something different, and it was really good. You could see other stories in the Halo universe that way, but people were like, nah, Batman Arkham Asylum, who cares about that? Like, who's this Rocksteady developer, right? It wasn't until like, oh my God, this is good, and then Arkham City was great, and then Arkham Knight was really good, where like some developers makes their names because they get that chance, the chance of working on a big IP like Batman, and then they become world famous. And something could be said the same for that for a third-party developer. Nobody really knows Certain Affinity outside of, Halo fans, but if they could put together an incredible Halo campaign, then everybody is going to be talking about Certain Affinity, and then, they could go on to big and huge things, Yo, you're back.
I'm back.
We did have a question from Kalanta saying, what weapon do you mainly use in Monster Hunter?
Gun lance, baby. Gun lance.
Gun lance?
What? Yeah, it's like a gun that's a lance.
Okay.
And a shield.
A gun
like
lance, he says.
Gun lance. That's pretty badass, man.
The Great Green says, doing my workout as I listen to you two, thanks for keeping me company and keep up the good work. Hope your workout goes well. Chris R says, Jez, do you know if the game a service plan for Halo was more of a 343 idea or something that Xbox wanted them to do?
No, that's like hard to say. It's really, really hard to say. Like, it's probably a combination of both. I think, like, at the end of the day, video game companies are in it to make money. It's not often that, a studio a AAA studio can just go and make something artistic, like a Pentiment, for example. A lot the games are businesses at the end of the day, and they have to make money. Halo's a business. Halo as an entity is a business, and we often talk about like it'd be cool if there could be like a horror spin-off of Halo where you just fight the Flood and stuff like that. But Microsoft probably looks at it from a business perspective. It's like, well, invest AAA stuff and it's 18 rating, and Halo's supposed to be a teen rating, so we can get all the teenies, get it in their Christmas stocking or whatever. I think about it like that. So there's probably a double aspect there. It's probably like, well, Fortnite and all that stuff is the big deal now. What would Halo look like in a world dominated by Fortnite and Apex and Valorant and all those free-to-play games? And it's probably like this is the best they could come up with. Like in a sense, like we wanna appeal to the core and the old school, which is why we're gonna have a campaign. But we've also got to meet the reality of modern game development halfway and make this service game. And clearly, there was just a hell of a lot of, I don't know, mismanagement, miscommunication, and all that sort of stuff. And it's not for lack of passion. The devs obviously worked really, really hard. I actually spoke to someone who used to be on the team who says to this day, and they haven't worked there for like years now, but they say to this day they have nightmares about Halo Infinite's development cycle.
Mm-hmm. You were saying that you also know people that left the video game industry over it, right?
Yeah, I know people who left the entire video game industry because of Halo Infinite, which is just wild to think about, right? It sounds like it was really tough and frustrating, and there's a lot of red tape, dealing with Microsoft as a bureaucracy, and their policies. Often they get called out for. They often get called out for the whole contractors scenario in Washington D.C. This is part of the reason why a lot of Microsoft studios, they've tried to move them out of DC, I think. Not DC, sorry, Washington State. I always get that mixed up. Why can't America just, choose more than one name for things? But anyway. But yeah, Washington State. They moved that stuff out of Washington State, and they're trying to hire into places like California and stuff. And, just like that chap said about the tax incentives and, why they sort of cheaped out on certain things. And it just sounds like it was a bloody nightmare. And yeah.
So my buddy Kimona Tong says that the Rocksteady game they did before Batman Arkham Asylum was Urban Chaos Riot Response. It was an FPS published by Eidos for the PS2 and Xbox. It was a 72 meta. And
Eidos was a publisher at one point?
Yeah, they were. But I was just talking about how like somebody could make a Halo game and like use that as a name to like, use Halo as a way to like bounce themselves into the spotlight. Very much like how nobody knew who Rocksteady was until the Batman games, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for that, because I knew it was something along those lines. Urban Chaos, State of Emergency, very similar. Let's see what else we got. We have Michael saying, is it time for a Doom-like reboot to Halo involving the book's writers? Maybe. That'd be interesting, a reboot of Halo. Start from the beginning or change things up. I sort of would be down for that. Especially with how they ended up, because it was just like, I really hated some of the storytelling at the end of Halo Infinite. I really didn't like that they basically just whitewashed all the stuff from Halo 5 that was interesting, and then just like started Halo Infinite from this point. It's like, what? Anyways, Brendan says, at E3 this year, the Coalition logo appears. The chime and electric riff from the 90s X-Men plays saying coming soon. Would this make you fellas bar up? I mean, an X-Men game by the Coalition? Sounds great. I'd love that. I still think they're just doing like Gear 6 and maybe that small new IP though, unfortunately. We'll see maybe after Gear 6. Armello says the lazy fair attitude with Xbox management at spender booty level has got to change. Well, that's my speculation about hands-off. I think they were sort of hands-off, which in this case I think didn't work for 343. It needed to be more micromanaged, or they needed to take action sooner than they did. But I think it works at other studios where it's like you don't want to screw up the culture or the creative process or whatever.
Obsidian's crushing it with the hands-off approach. So
Yeah, so there is that. Onyx says same for Perfect Dark 2 and Crystal Dynamic again. Probably talking about like the idea of, you know, like relying on third parties to make your games that you don't own. Gordon Falala says good chat. Thank you for the support, and yeah, chat's always amazing here. Nathaniel says, is the no hands approach also a problem? Obviously, creative freedom is a must, but it looks like it can lead to negligence. It depends on the studio, but I mean that's just my speculation because I don't know what happened. I'm just saying, seems like maybe they waited too long to actually get involved and change things at 343. But maybe Jason Schreier writes a book about this or some stories about it so we can learn more about what actually happened at 343 and during Halo Infinite's development, essentially. And Dead Planet says, part of the problem with Xbox's pipeline is so many of the games are RPGs. For a platform that needs games yesterday, this doesn't seem ideal. Games do take a long time to make these days. Jez, we did have breaking news on the show. Crystal Dynamics has announced that they're ending Avengers development.
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier.
I mean, I don't know how you saw it earlier. It literally just happened.
Nah, there was
a rumor. There's a report,
or
but I'm just saying, Crystal Dynamics literally officially just tweeted out 10 minutes ago an important announcement about the future of Marvel's Avengers. I don't know what it says.
I honestly thought I thought they'd already announced that because that game is.
I don't know what they're saying because I keep on getting a bad gateway when I open up the article, but I'm assuming
overloaded
it's
the website.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's what the rumor was earlier, that they're essentially the Marvel Avengers have been disassembled, and according to sources, Crystal Dynamics, the announcement the Avengers is ceasing development could come as early as next week. Well, it sounds like it came today. Guy said, I'm told the game will remain available sale digitally until at least September, and that the efforts are being made to keep the game playable for existing owners as long as possible, and that the remaining talent are expected to move full-time to Crystal Dynamics' new Tomb Raider title under Amazon Games, which I'm told is in full-scale development, and subject to mounting pressure in the lead-up to the reveal later this year. And I think I saw Tom Henderson, the one and only, say something similar and actually say they might reveal Tomb Raider soon, like next week. Let me see if I can find it. What did Tom say? Maybe it was like a reply I saw.
Are they rebooting it again, or?
I think so. Yes, I think they are rebooting it.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just totally just made that up, but I don't see that thing from Tom, but it definitely seems like they want to reveal Tomb Raider this year. So it looks like Avengers is dead for all you fans of Avengers. Another live service game that ends up. This is what happens when you make a live service game that doesn't meet expectations financially.
This is what happens to mobile games all the time.
Yeah.
Every mobile game free to play is basically a live service, and eventually. The player base is too small to maintain the live ops, so they just get deleted. And this is the way console gaming is going. That Suicide Squad Battle Pass thing immediately made me not interested in the game. I was barely interested in it anyway, but now it's like I'm I'm done with it. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, well, because shout out to Detective Seeds. It says, have a great weekend, guys. Thanks for the great information. Thank you for the support, brother. Dead Planet says, is there really no Forza gameplay next week? What the hell? Yeah, I've seen this kind of floating around that there's going to be no Forza gameplay next week, Jez. I
have no idea about that. I mean, if it's true, they should probably get out and set expectations as appropriately. I wouldn't have gone out there saying that Forza Motorsport is like the flagship topic at this event if I wasn't going to show anything. I wouldn't have made that decision personally, but I haven't got anything on my end to confirm that's true or false at the minute, so Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned Suicide Squad. That like a leaked image came out, and people were wondering if it was real or fake. And I know the game is currently being play tested.
Right.
So I thought like, oh, it's currently being play tested, and just happened to have a screenshot of the dash of the UI. I'm like, yeah, this has got to be real. And then people who were sharing it got DMCA'd from Square Enix, or DMCA'd from Warner Brothers. Basically, obviously saying it's true. It has a battle pass, and you just said what? Like, you're not interested now? Battle pass, live service stuff, right?
I pretty much wasn't interested anyway, because I kind of figured it was going to be a live service when they announced all the co-op stuff.
Yeah, 4-player co-op. Yeah,
but I didn't know they were going to go this deep with it. I thought it was going to be like, you know, like Monster Hunter doesn't have a battle pass. It's got a few cosmetics you can buy on the Xbox store, and they do these massive campaign expansions. Like, that's the kind of live service I'm okay with. It doesn't demand me. It doesn't sort of like demand of me to play every day. You know, it doesn't want to guilt trip me or use psychological tricks like FOMO or whatever and pressure me into playing every day. Monster Hunter's just like, yeah, play whenever you want. We're not gonna take anything away. There's nothing time limited. There's nothing time gated. It's just buy whatever cosmetics you want, whatever. We don't care. You know, I'll support that. But unfortunately, the psychological tricks work at scale. They work at scale. You know, we all bitch about them on the show, and you know, core gamers are like really tired of it and stuff. But it's sort of like, yeah, it's just, man, what a mess. The industry's in a mess. It feels like the whole industry is in a mess.
yeah. I mean, layoffs at
12 battle royales at Ubisoft.
Yeah, 12. I mean, but it makes sense. You would expect Ubisoft to make 12 battle royales, because they're trying to fucking throw anything at a wall to see if it sticks, and that's what's popular or was popular when all that stuff happened. And clearly, like, oh well, some of these need to be canceled. Clearly, right? So it's
for me, that just seems like awful business. You want to make 12 games and expect and hope that one of them hits, meanwhile the rest of them just flop? To me, that just seems like an awful business decision.
Well, I mean, that could be the reasons Ubisoft stock is down to like really low lows, where somebody could easily come scoop them up if they really had a mind to it. But then, who wants to take on 20,000 employees right now? Essentially, it's not bringing in Activision money. Probably not a lot of companies, right? 20,000 employees. If everybody's getting rid of people, like Google laid off 12,000, Microsoft lays off 10,000, Amazon lays off 18,000, Meta laid off 11,000, Twitter laid off 4,000, and Salesforce laid off 8,000. It's just all these tech jobs is gone. It's so sad to see, and it's just all just for like the bottom line, stock price, Wall Street, right? You know, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah, so another thing, Lucid Games is now working on Sea of Thieves. They made the announcement. Does this mean, Jez, that Sea of Thieves is now under the hands of Lucid, and that the studio is kind of all in on Everwild? Or have third parties been helping with Sea of Thieves for a long time, and this is just a new third-party team helping on Sea of Thieves because it's so successful?
I'm thinking about this, because, like, I was wondering, like, that's interesting. Does that mean that if they're outsourcing the ongoing service for Sea of Thieves, they're committing more people to Everwild? Because one of the Everwild producers recently tweeted something like, excited to, you know, get into Everwild this year. I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was something like, it was like positive outlook for a year about Everwild, basically, long story short. And I was just kind of like, that's an interesting move. I don't know if it means that, you know, maybe it doesn't. But it'd be pretty cool if it did. Maybe they're finally not, because there was that whole rumor mill about them struggling to find their legs with struggling to find their legs with Everwild. Like, they didn't know what the gameplay loop was. I think was the rumor. But maybe they've nailed all that stuff down now, and they're moving to a deeper phase of development or something. That's quite exciting, I think. I don't know if you agree. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I know they've been using third parties for a while. I think even one of the studios that they've been using for help were just acquired by Sony. So this could just be like, we need another studio to replace that studio that we lost. So now they're just like, Lucid's available. So it's like, okay, well, we need help. And because it does seem like Xbox is doing a lot of co-developing, right? Initiative working with Crystal Dynamics. Eidos is apparently helping with Playground on Fable. Now, some of these studios working with Sea of Thieves and Rare. We know a lot of third parties are helping with Halo and 343 on Halo Infinite and future projects. So it seems like that's becoming more of a common thing.
It does certainly seem that way. I mean, I suppose it's a way to mitigate costs in a way, because if you don't have to manage the teams or whatever, then I don't know.
Chuck says, Jez, if Perfect Dark isn't coming anytime soon, if they're focusing on Tomb Raider, referring to Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics is multiple teams though, so you have a team that's working on Tomb Raider and a team that's working on Perfect Dark.
There was a post on, I think it was either Reset or Twitter, where someone had claimed that Perfect Dark had hit road bumps in development or something. But it's like that's the typical sort of vague Xbox FUD. Like I would argue probably every game in development has road bumps and stuff like that. What is a road bump? It's a vague enough term. Like Jez feelings-based Jez could like start freaking out about, right?
Haven't you said though that people reached out to you and said that development on Perfect Dark is going pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, but that was a while ago, and also like that's the same kind of thing. Like, yeah, maybe development's going good, but like there's not a whole lot of context there. I think ultimately a lot of this stuff is sort of like discussion for the sake of discussion, and unless there's like a definitive expose about XYZ, we just sort of have to take it for what it is. That it's just rumor, speculation, and the only thing that matters is the finished product. And we all just hope that Perfect Dark will show up well and be good, pretty much like we are with every Xbox game, huffing the hopium.
Yeah. So, Xbox Direct, Jez, we got the next week. Predictions. I did this kind of for fun because I saw that IGN did it, and I saw that Kind of Funny did it. And I was kind of just like, all right, well, whatever. We'll talk about predictions, and I'll ask you, when do you think Forza Motorsport? All right, I guess I'll ask you this: do you think? Because Aaron's being pretty, hey, these are the 4 games. Do you think it's just those 4 games and nothing else? I guess we'll start there.
I'm pretty sure that there'll be more than those 4 games.
Okay, so you think there'll be more than those 4 games. Okay. Do you think of the 4 games mentioned, well, ESO really doesn't count because it's already out, but Minecraft Legends, Redfall, and Forza Motorsport, do you think we get release dates for all 3 of those games at this show?
All 3?
All 3. Minecraft, Redfall, and Forza.
Isn't there a 4th game?
Well, ESO, but I mean, ESO's out, so...
But aren't they announcing a new expansion? I don't know.
Yeah, but they are not. But who cares? The game's already out. I mean, who cares about the new expansion? The ESO's already out.
Mean, man. You're mean.
I'm not mean.
Mean.
So here's the thing. I was talking to my buddy about this. I was just like, the people tuning in to watch this.
Mean too?
What?
Was he mean too?
No, he wasn't being mean. But I was like, the people tuning in to watch this live don't care about ESO. And they probably don't even care about Minecraft Legends. So you have to know your audience.
Bro. Bro, just because you don't care, Minecraft Legends is going to be bigger than any of these games.
No, it won't be.
Guaranteed.
No, it won't be.
Yeah, it will.
Absolutely not. Are you serious?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm serious.
Nope.
Minecraft Legends is going to be bigger than...
Nope.
It's going to be bigger than Redfall. It's going to be bigger than Forza Motorsport. Yep.
Dude, was Minecraft Dungeons bigger than everything? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, 15 million.
50 million what?
15 million players.
15 million players?
Yeah. Wasn't it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, imagine that. I don't know.
Maybe you
I
did.
imagined it. I don't know. That's feelings based, Jez again.
It's feelings based, Jez. Minecraft Dungeons, a game that's probably going to be $20. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying that people tuning in to watch. I'm saying the people tuning in to watch it aren't tuning in to watch. I'm tuning
in to watch Minecraft Legends. So fuck you.
You're like weird though. Your name's like Jeremy. You're a weirdo,
bruh. My name isn't Jeremy.
Anyways, the question I had proposed to you was, will we see release dates for those 3 games? Minecraft Legends, Forza, and Redfall.
I think we'll see release dates for Redfall and Minecraft Legends. Forza, maybe not.
Why don't you think so?
Just a gut feeling, bro.
But I mean, if it's coming in the next few months, as the headline of the Direct says, why wouldn't they have a release date? Do they not know yet?
I don't know, bro.
So, okay, you think the Forza Motorsport won't have a release date. But you do think there's going to be more things than the 4 games. I think there's
going to be some fun surprises.
Okay. There. Do you think we see the announcement of the Xbox Game Pass family plan for the US market?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you expect to be more Game Pass announcements?
Yeah, I expect there to be a Game Pass little segment, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll hear from like the Game Pass leadership person. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Can you remember her name? What's her name?
No, I don't remember her name.
I can't remember her name. But yeah, maybe we hear from her and she does a little presentation, like what they've been doing at Game Pass, probably reiterate the Riot Games partnership, which is very annoying, actually. I noticed that, like, if you install a game from Xbox Game Pass app, it puts the Riot client on your PC, and you can't uninstall it from the control panel. You have to, like, dig through the files and literally delete the folder, which is very weird. Spooky spyware stuff from Tencent. But yeah, I think we'll see a bunch of news about Game Pass. I think we'll see maybe even new games, maybe even major game partnerships. Maybe they'll look at some of the third-party stuff. Wolong, for example. I saw my colleague playing Wolong. Looks really good. Looks really great, actually. So I think like they'll rewrite some of that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Atomic Heart there and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think there's going to be new games. I think there'll be a couple of new games maybe announced. Okay. But that's based on nothing but rumors and speculation and feelings, Jez. That's why
they're just predictions. Rambling Gamer Guy says, "I don't care about it, so nobody cares about it." Lol, dude, what? I don't care about Minecraft Dungeons, but I'm not saying that because I don't care about it that other people don't. Minecraft Legends Jez is right. Probably be big, but the audience, the Minecraft audience, what I'm saying is the Minecraft audience isn't tuning in to watch this Xbox Developer Direct.
Yeah, they are, bro.
No, they're not. Come on. They're not.
They should call it the Minecraft Developer Direct because no one
probably.
Cares about
maybe would it get more viewers then if they called it that. But I'm just saying that the audience that is really interested in Minecraft Legends isn't the audience that's going to watch this live. Not saying that Minecraft Legends shouldn't be there, that it shouldn't have a YouTube trailer that then you could show to that audience, but the audience that is going to show up live to it are mainly going to be interested in Redfall and Forza Motorsport information.
Nah.
I think so. Just because I'm not really interested in Minecraft, I'm not saying it's like nobody's interested, because clearly people are interested in Minecraft. I got to take this phone call, Jez. Answer some questions, okay?
Answer some questions. Well, first of all, we got a super chat from Farsman. Minecraft Legends will chart Japan. Nothing else in that list will. Yeah, exactly. See, everyone knows Minecraft Legends is going to be legendary. I actually I got to see Minecraft Legends behind the scenes at Gamescom. Developer playing an earlier build of it. Looks a hell of a lot of fun. It looks addictive as hell. It's my jam. It's my jam. But maybe I'm weird, like Rand says. Maybe I'm a bit weird. Give me some questions, guys, while we wait for Rand to get back from taking this phone call. Live podcasting. That's great. Maybe like when me and Rand become like super duper podcasting millionaires, like Joe Rogan, we can have like a personal assistant to take Rand's phone calls all the time. It's probably Phil phoning up Rand and being like, Rand, why you throwing me under the bus over this 343 stuff, Rand? Phil's probably like gunning for Rand's blood right now. Jez needs to inform his contacts we need a cheese-themed Xbox Series X, says Gilly. I agree. Cheese-themed Xbox Series X, but what cheese? What cheese? Because honestly, you know, America is great at food, right? America is really good at food, but American cheese, just not it. It's not it. The British cheese is just so much better than American cheese. American cheese like has no flavor in it whatsoever. You know, you need some nice Cathedral City, you know, mature cheddar. That's the kind of Xbox we need. Cathedral City branded Xbox right now. Jez, what do you think of one of the Activision COD studios doing the next Halo campaign after acquisition? Well, I've been on the record multiple times. I think I tweeted to Ryan McCaffrey this week, actually. I would love a Treyarch Call of Duty ODST. Make a whole ass Call of Duty about Halo ODST where you play as a soldier, you fight in, I don't know, some rogue faction of humans or something. I suppose that's one reason they wouldn't do it, because they don't like the human on human combat. But there has been human on human combat in the Halo lore, because wasn't there that whole like weren't the Spartans originally created specifically to combat humans? Or am I going crazy? My Halo lore is not that great, so someone in chat will have to correct me. I don't think the Spartans weren't created to combat aliens, were they? They were created to shut down a revolution or something. Am I going crazy? But anyway, if they did like Halo ODST, or maybe like they could do it where, I don't know, one team are ODSTs and the other team are brutes or something. They could do it that way if they didn't want to do human on human combat, I guess. But also like your zombie mode is the Flood. It's the game writes itself. It's just like obvious to me that there should be a Call of Duty Halo game. And I also say this as someone who doesn't like Halo combat, or would prefer Call of Duty combat any day of the week to a Halo game. And Call of Duty's hurting for ideas. They're hurting for ideas so bad they're remaking the old Call of Duty again. Like, we're gonna have Modern Warfare 3 remake again, reimagining or whatever you want to call it. You know, they're running out of ideas. They need ideas for that game. Franchise as well. So yeah, everyone in chat, everyone in chat agrees. My great Call of Duty Halo game would be awesome. Give me some more questions, chat, because God knows who Rand's on the phone to. I think maybe it's like Rand's accountant asking him to submit a tax return for all the millions of dollars that he's got from YouTube fame and stuff. I want a third-person survival horror. He plays a civilian during the Covenant invasion, and then a flood infestation. It writes itself, says Stephen. Yeah, I often see this idea about having a horror-themed Halo game. There's so much stuff they could do with Halo that they just don't. You know, they should do a team tactics version of Halo as well. I wouldn't mind if they did Halo Wars 3. Make it more like Civ, 4X strategy, turn-based, you know, applicable to mobile and cloud. I think that would be really great. You know, I think 4X strategy is perfect for Halo. You could do the whole space combat stuff. It could be really, really good. But alas, we're not really there yet with Halo right now. It'd be nice if they could just get one Halo game right before we start branching out to other Halo games, I guess. Jez, did you get an impression from the person you spoke to who is playing Starfield? You mean like gameplay impressions? Only sort of vague teases about how good it is. You know, I didn't really dig for details about what it is. I really, really wanted to ask if the game has gore in it or if it has a 30 frames per second mode. But I also kind of wanted to respect the fact that, you know, they're not allowed to talk about it really. So a lot of the stuff that they said was just sort of really vague teasing, and I didn't really want to dig any further than that. But it just made me sort of hyped about it, you know. It sounded really optimistic, and I'm optimistic, and I think you guys should be optimistic too. Randy G,
I'm back.
Superchat says, "Is Wasteland a good game? Do you recommend it?" Yes, Wasteland is actually an amazing game franchise. I would probably skip the original unless you like playing games from the 80s. But Wasteland 2 and 3 are both very, very good. I really like Wasteland 2, even though it's a little bit older. It still holds up. Controls aren't great, but if you can adjust the controls, you'll have a blast. It's a great RPG. Really, really cool. Really rewarding. Wasteland 3 is just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant game. Hilarious writing. Absolutely fucked up writing. In Exile's writing team is just really, really, really warped. Like Obsidian. Obsidian has like this sort of light-hearted sense of humor that can have like a dark edge, and so can Bethesda. But in Exile, he's just wading in, borderline shit. You're gonna be arrested for saying this kind of stuff. I don't know. Obsidian's crazy. In Exile's crazy. I love In Exile. Gatelight says, "Did Jez skip my question? I missed it. Can you retype it again? Sorry about that.
I'm back. Jez, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Do you have a list of super chats I might have missed?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I normally wouldn't answer.
Oh, no. I got it. Yeah, it's all right. Go on. I found
was just saying I normally wouldn't answer the phone, but little family emergency, so had to answer the phone.
Oh, I hope it's all okay.
Not really. Nothing that is like medical, but something happened, and it's not a good thing.
Do you need to go?
No, I don't need to go. Doesn't involve me. But.
Well, I just get these super chats real quick. Like Skatelight says, Jez is Halo Infinite financial failure. I haven't seen any data saying that. We don't know. We don't know at the end of the day. I mean, the rumor is that they've invested over $1 billion in Halo Infinite from personnel and everything else. I doubt Halo Infinite's made $1 billion. So yeah, it's hard to gauge at that point. And Leaky Hum says, if no Forza Motorsport date, then turn 10 Xbox deserve firings. It's a little bit extreme there, Leaky. And Thasma said Minecraft Legends will try in Japan. Nothing else in that list will. Oh, I already got that one, but yeah. And then Elitist Edit says, do you think Microsoft might turn 343 in something like World's Edge and have them oversee the Halo IP and other devs pitch different ideas? We did talk about that a little bit earlier, but I don't think they're going to turn 343 into like a World's Edge where they're just sort of the stewards of the IP or whatever and do that kind of stuff. That being said, I think we did say that there's an expectation that certain affinities probably going to be picking up more of the Halo tab in the future than they have been. But yeah. That was the gist of our conversation about that. But Rand, I'll let you go back to hosting now.
Yeah. Sean says, love hearing Rand and Spawncast. Will Jez go on too? They do it Saturday nights at 8 p.m. my time. I would imagine that's too late for Jez. If they even wanted Jez to come on, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they want me.
I'm gonna crumb says Starfield has gore. It's just minimal. You can see it in the showcase when you watch it at 4K. So BFABB.
I want to see limbs flying and eyeballs. In
I know you do.
You know.
So BFABB899 says, "Where's the second DLC for Forza Horizon 5? Probably coming sometime this year. I don't know when. Maybe they reveal it at this developer direct. I mean, it's been a bit since the last one. Maybe they can announce it here. I don't know. Do you have any more direct predictions, Jez, for this thing?
Direct predictions? Nah, not really.
You kind of talked about the stuff. I mean, I think we'll get release dates for all the games. I think there'll be an announcement of a new game. I think maybe they'll talk about Game Pass stuff. But you know, Aaron's setting expectations properly. I know a lot of people are expecting, or at least think, the last thing at the show will be them announcing the date for the Starfield show. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think that's a possibility. I think that'd be a good way to close it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even that's like, wouldn't that potentially overshadow the rest of the show?
No, because it's just like, hey, we got a Starfield show coming. You know, this date. I don't think it would. But anyways, those are all the main topics. We do have some questions from the wonderful people at patreon.com/XB2, where one of the perks is you can write in whatever you want and ask us these questions. So I'm going to get to these. So if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you give us a like and subscribe if you're new. We have one here from Katriox. Question for Jez. Do you think we will ever get a popular MMORPG like World of Warcraft where players actually roleplay and be super social with each other? Well,
So what?
I mean, the question was for you.
Where is that? I can't see it.
It's Patreon question.
Oh, we're in Patreon already?
Yeah, we're in Patreon questions.
Oh shit. Okay, what was it again?
It's from Kate
Oh yeah, I
Rocks.
got it. Do you think we'll ever get popular because actual role playing we social each other? You know, you can do that in World of Warcraft. You know, there are role playing servers in World of Warcraft where you are supposed to portray your character. Are you aware of this, Rand?
No, I'm not aware of that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna blow your mind right now. I play on a role playing server in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And you know what you have to do on a role playing server in World of Warcraft?
What do you have to do?
You have to pretend to be your character, bro.
Pretend to be your character. Okay.
So you have to like when you're talking in like say chat, you're like you're a goblin. You have to be a goblin, bro. You have to barter in no, right?
I'm
Right?
okay.
Are you? You have to be a goblin, man. It's role play. You never role played in your life?
No.
No, when you're a little kid, like pretend to be Sonic or something.
Oh, you know what? I forgot a topic, Jez. So when you answer this
Oh.
question, we got one more topic we need to discuss. I'm sorry, I totally forgot something. Something that's even in the title.
Well, I was kind of confused because I thought, hang on, is that it? But yeah.
I mean, hang on, is that it? The show's already 3 hours long. What do you mean?
Oh, really?
Yes.
It feels like it's gone quick. But anyway, yeah, I don't think there'll be a game where where it's just role playing because it's kind of a niche thing. I think for most people. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun to role play. You know.
Yes. But back to the topic I missed. Scalebound.
Oh, Scalebound. I thought we talked about that.
No,
that's another.
Is
that not another special, Nick?
Yeah, that is. But we didn't actually properly address it because Nick made this claim. We talked about it on Xbox 2 Ultimate. And Nick made the claim on his show on Xbox Era last week that Xbox and Platinum are working together, and that they signed an early agreement, and that Scalebound is going to be brought back from the dead. And I feel like this is directly just to annoy me. And me personally.
He made the rumor up to annoy you?
No, I didn't even make the rumor up to annoy him. I just sort of like, because like this show, somebody always brings up Scalebound like once a show, right? There's always these rumors. Almost seems like every single year, like clockwork, somebody says it's coming back, it's being revived, and it's always not true. And then here's one from Nick, and it's just like, it could be true. And the funny thing is you had told me that you heard similar rumors.
Yeah,
which makes it more like, whoa, wait a minute. So Nick is saying this, and that you're also hearing similar rumors. What is going on, Jez? What is going on?
This is one of those like rumors I don't believe kind of thing.
But you didn't believe Nick about the Gears collection, but you're starting to come around about that one.
Yeah, it's kind of like, again, this isn't a physical evidence, fact based Jez. Okay, this is not a Jez leak and developer direct because we've got physical evidence. Okay, this is more of a like, that's an interesting proposition. The sort of like a source that has given accurate information in the past sort of hinted at, I guess you could say. And it's kind of like, man, are we really doing this? So like right now I still personally don't believe it. I don't believe Scalebound's coming back, but I will say that it kind of feels like the odds of it maybe coming back are slightly elevated. So if we sort of like, if we're gonna start rating Nick's rumors.
Okay.
Out of 10.
How many Nicks out of 10 are you gonna give this one?
I give this room a 4 nicks out of 10.
4 nicks out of 10. Okay.
I give this room a 4 nicks out of 10. Personally, maybe even 3 nicks out of 10. But it's not 0 nicks out of 10.
Okay.
Which is I've
see, here's the thing.
it's not.
I could totally see Xbox and Platinum working together again. I could totally see it. And I'm not against it. Because I do think Platinum, when they have the right people on a project, can create amazing games. But then we've also seen it when they don't, they create shit. Like Babylon's Fall and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? So it's like, which Platinum team are you getting? Are you getting the ones that did Nier Automata? Are you getting the ones that did Metal Gear Rising Revengeance? Are you getting the ones that did Astral Chain, Bayonetta? Or are you getting the ones that did the shit games, right? So I could totally see with Xbox wanting to make more Japanese exclusives, partnering with Kojima for his game, partnering with Platinum. I could totally see that happening. And I could totally see Platinum wanting to be like, all right, let's do this. Let us bring back Scalebound. Because they've talked about it. I think Kamiya's talked about it, right? Wanting to do Scalebound again or whatever. And there's a part of me that even thinks Xbox would be okay with that because they would look at it like a PR win. Like, here's a game that was canceled, and now we're working with Platinum again, coming back together despite, canceling the game. And it's like basically the completion of a promise. So like I could see the wheels of PR spinning about how it would make sense. But then it's like, but the Scalebound that they were making wouldn't be the Scalebound of now. And Scalebound as a name also has a ton of baggage as a canceled game. And the game that people may have built up in their head might be better than the game that actually releases. So it does have some negatives attached to it. But I would like to see Xbox partner with Platinum. So I could see Platinum wanting to do this. So yeah,
it could be an interesting success story. Game that revived from the dead, saved, and then ended up being really good. When has that ever happened? Really, when the game's been very publicly cancelled, and then uncancelled, and then was actually good. When has that ever happened? It probably has happened, but I can't think of a time when it has happened.
I can't think of a time either. But we do have an amazing, incredible super chat here from Detective Seeds, $100. Who says, here's $100. Let's hear Jez's roleplay voice as his goblin character. Yes. Let's go. Well, let's go.
Wait, is that $100 for me then?
I mean, sure. I'll charge you taxes for it. Let's go. Let's get the goblin character. Do your roleplay. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, man. Time is money, friend.
Don't get the fuck out of here. That's not your goblin character voice, is it?
That's
really?
What they say.
He paid $100 to hear your goblin character voice, and that's the voice you're gonna give him.
That's the goblin voice from where? Like you don't talk, you type. So I don't know what my goblin sounds like, but all goblins in WoW sound like New Yorkers.
Okay, so speak as a New Yorker then.
Oh my god. Well, that's what they say. They say time is money, friend. Because that's what they say. Because they're obsessed with gold. That's what goblins say. Oh no.
Yes.
That was a lot of money for that.
That's why I'm saying I'm disappointed for him because he paid a lot of money to hear your goblin voice. And Dave says that's your American voice. It is his American voice.
That is literally what goblins sound like in WoW. I'm trying to think of some of their other voice lines, but I just can't. They always say time is money, friend.
So, but you don't talk to when you in voice chat to the people playing with you. The talking to goblin.
That'd be so cringe. You text, man. You don't speak like a goblin.
Yeah, the beer baron says, "Laugh my ass off. You got to give us more than that. 3 to 4 sentences for $100. He's 100% right. I feel bad for the Detective Seeds. Just do it like a fake Manscaped ad read as the goblin voice.
Jesus Christ! No,
come on.
I'm sorry. Refund him.
I can't refund super chats. They're unrefundable.
Oh man, well, you're gonna have to figure it out.
I feel bad for Detective Seeds. He pays for something, and all he's gonna get is time is money.
Friend.
That's all. What other things some goblins say?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You've been playing the game for 15 years and you don't know what goblins say?
I literally cannot think.
Oh my god.
of what else they say. Man, I'll have to do some research. Maybe I'll come back to it next week for it.
Come back next week for it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Shout out to our sponsor. Like, come on, Jez. Just do something in the Goblin voice. Make it worth Detective Seed's money on this.
No, god damn it, man. Refund him.
I can't refund him.
Venmo him, man. Dude,
Venmo
send Rand your Cash App link or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll refund you.
But Google's going to take 30% from it too, so. Yeah. I apologize, Detective Seeds. I apologize. What
am I, a performing monkey?
I mean, yeah. People say give us leaks, Jez, and you're like, you give them leaks. Banana Peel Jack says Horde RP servers don't count, Jez. Only Alliance do. And
I don't know, man. I've had some good Horde RP in my years. I don't know.
And Dead Planet says I'd like an Emergency Day Gears game without the armor. Makes the locust scary and brings an element of survival horrors feeling without the cog tech. So. MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, what's going on, man? He says, GoldenEye at the developer direct or nah? I heard Rand wants to play it immediately. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Jez. Is GoldenEye going to be there at developer direct? God,
I don't know. But what I do know is that it's going to have a lot of DRM.
It's going to have a lot of DRM? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's going to have DRM. GoldenEye. Of course it will. A lot of DRM. It means Modern Vintage Gamer is like... Gotta wince in pain every time he plays it. Like, DRM.
DRM, yeah. MVG and the DRM stuff, yes.
Yeah, he does not like the DRM.
We need to get MVG on Xbox 2+1 as well.
Yeah, we do, yeah. We can discuss DRM for an hour. And why it's very necessary and important.
No. We could talk about DRM with him, but he's more than just DRM, Jez.
That's the beam now.
Pinta says Jez's voice sounds like John Malkovich from Rounders. Yeah, it kind of does.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't even know?
No, who's that?
John Malkovich? Yes. You don't know who John Malkovich is? John Malkovich.
No, I do not.
What?
I've never.
You have to know who John Malkovich is.
I have no idea who that is. It's going to be some American thing, probably.
Oh like my cookies. God. Doesn't even know who John Malkovich is. Wow.
Come on, tell me who is he?
He's a worldwide known actor who's been in a bunch of roles. He's incredible. He's a great, amazing actor. Like being John Malkovich in The Line of Fire, Red. I mean, let's go to IMDb and look up some of the movies. You know who he is. I
literally do not know, and I don't know any of those movies you just said.
You don't know any. I didn't make any of that up.
Name a famous movie he's in.
Being John Malkovich. Hold on. Let me bring up his page on IMDb.
Hang on. He's got a whole movie about himself. That's pretty egotistical, man.
Well, I mean, it's you'd have to understand, Jez. It's
I don't understand, Rand. I don't understand a lot of
Clearly
things.
not. How do you
Come on, give us the names of some of his movies.
I just did. In the Line of Fire, Red, Being John Malkovich. I mean, Rounders. There's a whole bunch of them. Con Air. You've never seen Con Air with Nicolas Cage?
Never heard of Con Air. I know Nicolas Cage's though.
Cyrus the Virus. Come on, Jesus.
Never heard of it. What kind of movies are these? Are they action movies or what?
I mean, Con Air is an action movie, yeah. Anyways,
I know Clint Eastwood is.
Clint Eastwood. He's in a movie with Clint Eastwood in The Line of Fire, where Clint Eastwood is protecting the president, and John Malkovich is the guy trying to kill the president.
Is he a cowboy?
In The Line of Fire?
Yeah, Clint Eastwood's a cowboy.
Not in Line of Fire. He was also in Of Mice and Men. He was Lenny, I believe. Or maybe Lenny was Gary Sinise. I forget which one.
Of Mice and Men gives me PTSD because it reminds me of English literature at school. I don't like him.
Was he Lenny? I think he was Lenny. I forget which one he was. I forget who's who in Of Mice and Men. It's been a long time since I've read the book and seen the movie.
Rip.
Yeah, Detective C says, Jez has never heard of Con Air. No wonder Brits lost the war against us. Jesus. 100%.
Wow. Dude, I forgot to do timestamps a bunch.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? How could you forget to do timestamps?
Well, I forgot. Well, I got most of them, but I didn't do a timestamp for when the Q&A session started.
Well, it really hasn't started. It's about to start literally right now because now we're getting into the Patreon stuff. Shout out to Riskit for the biscuit. He says, Jez, are you serious right now, bro? Con Air? Anyway, Tim Tam's better. Xbox better. And Silent Cypher says, I was willing to accept Jez not doing a goblin voice, but he doesn't know John Malkovich. Jez, you have homework now. You're getting called out, man.
God.
You're getting called out by everybody in chat for not knowing who John Malkovich is, and especially for not knowing Con Air.
Dude, these are like probably all really old movies from your generation.
My generation, bro, you're almost to your 40s. You're almost old. What are you talking about?
No, I'm young.
No, you're not young anymore. You're not young.
What do you mean? I'm 24, man. What are you talking about?
No, you're not, Jeremy.
My name's not Jeremy, god damn it.
Oh, God, I love it. It's so great. But yes.
No, it's not. It's horrible.
Time for the Q&A. So you can make a little note here, Jez.
Yeah, I made a little note. Don't worry.
Wonderful people at patreon.com/XB2. You can sign up. We should have Jeff Grubb on soon for Xbox 2+1. Sometime towards the end of the month after the Direct. I can't wait to talk to him about that. But let's go. So CJ, AD93 says, question for Rand. What was the most difficult game you played to get all the achievements? For me, it was Solitaire. Interesting question. The most difficult game... I mean, there was game like I still remember doing Dead Space 2 with only 3 saves. That was tough, but also fun. Difficult. I don't know. It was difficult to play some of the Connect games to get all the achievements because I had to bribe my sisters. That's more like a different kind of difficult. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? I'm literally paying one of my sisters to play Sesame Connect with me. Sesame Street Connect. Or do like a Victorious Dancing or Nickelodeon Dance, and I needed an extra person to stand there. Like, those are difficult in a different way where you're like, am I a loser? And you're like, yeah, you are. And it's like, God damn it. Am I a loser?
I remember that. I got my life flashed before my eyes when you said that, because I remembered how I felt when I was weighing up going to a World of Warcraft raid or going to my end of year exams. And I was thinking, I kind of felt like I'm going to change the course of my life with this decision. And guess what I chose, Rand?
What'd you choose?
The Warcraft raid.
Yes, the Warcraft one. I mean, difficult. Yeah, I mean, the one that really sticks out is the Dead Space 2 one. 3 saves to beat that game was definitely probably maybe the most tense I've been, because it's like you die and it's like you start to start over. So that was pretty intense. Paul Prout says, with the closure of Stadia, do you see competition heating up between GeForce Now and xCloud? I remember there being talk of games you own working on xCloud, even if they aren't in Game Pass. Is that still happening?
Yeah, I believe that's still happening, where they're going to get games you own into Game Pass. So it's not just the pool. Because like I've been burned a couple of times where games like I've been playing, like Scarlet Nexus, for example. I was playing Scarlet Nexus pretty much exclusively on xCloud, and I never finished it. I was about maybe 3/4 of the way through it. And I was playing it on xCloud pretty much exclusively because it plays really well on xCloud. And then they pulled it. And now I can't play on xCloud anymore. So, yeah, GG, please. But yeah. I believe that's still happening. What was the other part of that question?
The other part was competition heating up between GeForce Now and xCloud with Stadia gone.
GeForce Now. Yeah, so potentially. The problem with GeForce Now is that it's never going to have any exclusives. That's pretty much the issue with GeForce Now. There's never going to be like exclusive content. And not only that, they're competing with Steam sales. I mean, it's like a lot of the time it's kind of like, why would I why would I bother, playing this on GeForce Now when I can just get on Steam, man? Because it's kind of the PC audience, right? In a way. So because the games they are the PC versions of the games, and the pretty much GeForce Now just loads up a Steam client in a sandbox. It's really weird, actually. So yeah, I mean they're going to try and heat up competition, sure, but they're always going to be I think they're always going to be one step behind Xbox, who bring exclusives and also have a more curated library, as well. It's not, and also the bespoke touch controls. I think console versions of games just make a lot more sense for this kind of what they're trying to do here. But GeForce Now does have an edge when it comes to raw quality, and that's because they have all the technology to do that. They've got the graphics cards and and the servers and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Xbox has to partner with AMD for it, and maybe AMD's tech isn't as good. I don't know. But GeForce Now does seem to have an edge when it comes to streaming latency and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they'll try and heat up competition, but there's a hard cap on how far they can go, I think. But yeah, good question, I think. It's going to be interesting.
I do think you'll be able to play your games at some point. They said that was their intent to get it launched this year. Didn't happen. Maybe the holdups to licenses and trying to get deals done. That seems to be more the case. So, Army Dude 52C says, first time writing in, but I was thinking of movie adaptations. What are your thoughts about a Hunger Games video game? Also, would you make it open world or the style of the Dark Pictures anthology? Open world, probably. Yeah, I mean, Hunger Games could work. Although I sort of feel at this point in time, it's been a while since the movies and the books have not as popular as they once been. Like the boat has sort of sailed on.
Aren't they doing more Hunger Games stuff?
There is a prequel movie coming, but I mean, like the height of Hunger Games when it was at its apex is come and gone. If they were gonna do a video game, they should have did it then.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right.
But I could see when he says by Dark Pictures, I could see you have a battle royale thing and. I could see like making your decisions and who lives and who dies. I could see it like that, but I would have it more like action-based, semi-open world experience. We have one here from Lord Pimp King. Fellas, I'm here today advocating for a first-party horror game. I also hate to get into the choir talk, but I think Red Barrels, the Outlast devs, would be a great addition to Xbox. What are your thoughts? I'm with you.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think there needs to be more first-party horror stuff. There isn't a lot. Well, this year is kind of a renaissance of horror with, Resident Evil and the Callisto Protocol, which just came out. Dead Space, what else am I thinking of? Resident Evil, Dead Space, Callisto Protocol. There was another game. But either way,
that game from Amnesia devs.
Yeah, the Amnesia. I mean, even the Outlast. They got their own game. The Outlast Trials coming. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Grabbing them and having to make some horror games. First party wise, I'd be totally down for that. Totally down. Ryan Kipple says a lot of news this week, but I don't want to miss the most important update. Rand, how is Shakespeare doing? Shakespeare's doing good. He's been eating both of his meals, and his surgery is scheduled for the end of February.
I got a bone to pick with you about Shakespeare.
What about Shakespeare?
Well, we're talking in DM,
and
you were like, I've got to go upstairs because I need to address Shakespeare. And I said...
I didn't say that.
You said something like, I got to go upstairs because of Shakespeare. And I said, well, get me a Shakespeare video then. And you didn't do it.
I'm sorry. I'll do it one of these times when usually at night, like right now, Shakespeare is sleeping. He's most active during the day, and I always forget to take videos of him. I'll get one for you. The
whole point of having a pet is to get pictures of him for social media. That's the whole point.
I don't really use social media. Social media can be toxic.
Speaking of toxic, did you see that Kotaku
Oh,
tape?
How could I not see the Kotaku guy? Oh my God. Luke Plunkett. Plunkett. Jesus Christ. Kotaku, one of the one of the worst gaming websites out there, maybe the one that's the most toxic itself, right? Coming from Luke Plunkett, one of the most toxic writers at Kotaku. Like literally, land-based Phil about his speech about like diversity and all this sort of stuff, and he's like the man in charge of the most toxic fan base, like equating like Phil has any sort of ownership over the fans of Xbox, and then saying all the fans of Xbox are toxic, right? And he's like, so he qualifies an entire fan base as toxic. So what do you expect happens? You have all the Xbox fans coming back at him, being like, I don't know, the toxicity exists everywhere. And then he's like, if you try to come in here and tell me not all Xbox fans, you're blocked. It's just, dude, look into a mirror, my guy. Look into a mirror. Seriously. You're complaining about toxicity and that you make a toxic tweet yourself. Luke is basically nothing more than a console warrior that writes for Kotaku. I'm sorry. He's been like that for years. You can go scroll through his articles. He is what he is. He's basically a console warrior. And to just label everybody as an Xbox fan toxic and then be like, oh, you try to tell me no, you're blocked. And then to use that as evidence of like, see, I told you so. Look at all the hate I'm getting. Dude, you ain't slick. You ain't slick, my guy.
Nah.
Imagine a dude from Kotaku talking about toxicity. From Kotaku, of all places. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's projection.
Yeah. God. Anyways. What else we got here? More Patreon questions. Ralph Wiggum says, hey guys, my wife has a question. If you could have your memory wiped to read a book for the first time again, what book would it be? Oh.
Ooh, that's an interesting
What book would it be? Jeez.
I want to know Rand's take on this. I can't really help with this question because I've read no books.
I mean, probably would have to be... See, that's a very tough question because I would say something in the Wheel of Time, but I'm also older now, and just like wiping my memory of one book of the Wheel of Time doesn't help. So it'd have to be like wiping my memory of an entire series, and if that was the case, it'd be Wheel of Time. But if it was a singular book where I could like wipe it, it probably would be It from Stephen King, or maybe The Stand from Stephen King, like a singular book where I could wipe it and read it again. Because like those are two of my favorite books from Stephen King, and like I want to do a reread of it, but I also remember a lot of what happens in it, even though I haven't read the book in a long time. So that my memory of the book of it is pretty much almost wiped as is. It'd probably be one of those. Fantasy series, though, it'd have to be a series, and I would choose Wheel of Time simply because I would love to experience Wheel of Time again for the first time. Oh, Risk It says the magician from Raymond Feist. He was that was the author in the series that got me into reading in the first place, brother. I was a sophomore in high school, like 1996 or whatever that was, and we had to read a bunch of books for my honors English class. Oh, I can't speak. And we had to read Magician Apprentice and Magician Master. And I remember getting that book and then dreading reading it, right? Like who wants to read books for school, right? But I remember
to read books, period.
Yeah, I know. But I remember reading Magician Apprentice, and I like read through that book in like 5 days, and I loved it so much that by the time we had a month to read it, so by the time that month was up, I had already read Magician Master. I had already read Silverthorn and Darkness at Sethanon and The King's Buccaneer and the Prince of the Blood. Like I had already like gotten so far into the whole series that like when we had to take the test and write the report on it, like I was already halfway through with the series at that point in time. Oh man, and that's what got me into fantasy. I read Raymond Feist, I read Magician, the Rift War Saga, and then I started to get into other stuff, and that's how I discovered Wheel of Time, and that's how I got into Stephen King because he was writing The Dark Tower, and got into. That's how I discovered also Game of Thrones at the time when it was A Song of Ice and Fire before it was this huge thing. Yeah, it was all because of Raymond Feist, and all because of that teacher in my sophomore year of high school, who gave me it as an assignment. So. Leakium says, Rand, why do you make no Xbox top 10 tier list retrospectives? I mean, maybe I will. I just have to be really interested in it to do it. And I just haven't really wanted to do something like that. So,
hey, Leaky, I'm planning on doing that.
See, Jez is. Because it's easier to write that stuff than it is make videos about it.
No, I'm making videos about it.
Okay, well, there you go. Jez is making videos about it.
I'm going to do it because Rand's too damn lazy to do it. So I'll do it.
What? Lazy?
And also, we got to remember, Rand doesn't do retrospectives because Rand only has interest in trending topics, trending games and trending topics.
Yeah, that's why I played Callisto Protocol a month after it came out, and Evil West like 2 months after
It's
it came out.
still trending.
No, it's not. No, nobody's trending. Get out of here with that.
It's hella trending.
Oh, what about you, Mr. World of Warcraft? Is it, like you only playing trending games? Or Monster Hunter Rise? Please. Like, you don't play only trending games either. Get out of here. Stop it, Jez. What else we got here? We have the Bearded Tate saying, what do you think about Microsoft's big investment in OpenAI? And do you think that Microsoft will try to make GPT tech exclusive to Xbox when it comes to AI in games? I don't really know anything about that.
So. Yeah, so that's like, that was the meme that I saw shared a lot this week, was that Microsoft's firing everyone because they're going to have ChatGPT do everything instead. So, for those who don't know, ChatGPT is like this. It's like this supercomputer brain, basically, that reads the internet and can contextualize content and rearrange it, basically, into semi-intelligently. And you know, Microsoft doesn't own ChatGPT, but they have exclusive rights to the commercial application of ChatGPT, owing to an earlier $20 billion investment, I think, in the company, $10 billion, like back in the day. So Microsoft invested in OpenAI early, and they got in and they got all these exclusive rights, right? So technically, yeah, they could use ChatGPT in games. They could use ChatGPT on Xbox to do predictive text and stuff like that. We're only really just starting to see them apply some of OpenAI stuff to their products. Like Bing now has image generator tech in it, and Visual Studio has code generation tech in it, which is powered by ChatGPT, I believe. Copilot, I think they call it. So yeah, some of that stuff will undoubtedly make its way to Xbox when it makes sense, but I think they're sort of focusing on Azure right now, the low-hanging fruit, I guess, for making a lot of money. And then maybe later on they'll be like, hey, Xbox, do you want to have a look at some of this stuff? You know, but Microsoft has a team within Xbox that is dedicated to this stuff. And Rand, do you know who leads this team?
Who leads it?
It's our old buddy, whose name I can't remember. The guy who made xCloud. I can't remember his name.
Kareem Chowdhury?
Yes, Kareem Chowdhury. So Kareem Chowdhury, I believe, is actually looking into applying some of this technology to Xbox, and that's his current role. So Kareem is obviously a genius, and his team is full of geniuses, and they're charged with exploring this stuff. So yeah, I suppose watch this space, right?
Yeah. Silent Cypher, I missed the super chat. He says, Jez, you are our age. Indeed he is. He likes to pretend he's young, but he ain't young no more. So
I'm young.
Yeah. And if you guys missed it, what was it? Was it during the Xbox 2 Ultimate show where we did the whole chat GPT thing and read out the AI?
Oh yeah. We did a Rand poem.
Where you spent 30 minutes making stuff up and getting stories or whatever, remember? Yeah, that was fun. Let's not do that again.
The Randall poem.
I remember the Randall poem and the Randall rap. Indeed, I remember those.
I'm going to generate one right now.
No, we're not doing that.
We are doing it.
We're not. Anyways, moving on. Next question.
I'll do a haiku.
No, we're not. All right, do a haiku. Do a short one.
Okay, ChatGPT. I love this shit, man. Right, let's do a Rand haiku.
Okay.
Oh,
A Rand.
Okay. A Rand haiku. I gotta sign in now. Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do the next question. Silas.
The next question.
He says, "What games define you? Not so much your favorite games to play, but if someone asked you what game best represents you as a man, what would it be?" For example,
Wow.
Randall Insider say may allegedly hate playing Pokemon, but maybe the cute cuddly creatures best represent who he is. That is what best represents me as a man playing video games.
Man, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, I've never really thought about. Chat, what represents you as a man or a woman playing video games? What game?
All 1% of the women who listen to this show.
Well, no, I think my channel's like 2% female. I think it's like 97% or something. I'm not sure on the podcast demographics, but what game best represents you as a man or a woman? Let me know. Let me know what your guys' responses would be in chat. King Hal says Donkey Kong. Okay. Okay. All right.
I don't even know how to answer this question. What represents me?
David Martinez says Scalebound. Cancelled. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I fit. Yeah.
That's great.
Banana Peel Jack says Dark Souls. Okay. All right. I get that. The Jakester says Red Dead Redemption 2, Fortnite, and Persona 5 Royale. Okay. Piet Jan says Viva Pinata. Pasha Play says Jez's Lawnmower Simulator.
Why?
I don't know. My buddy Ben DOA says Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. Of course it would be DOA. Of course. That would be the game that you would pick. That best fits you.
This is a great question. Yeah. Farming Simulator.
South Mole says Peppa Pig.
Yeah. Man, I think for me it's Limbo.
Limbo? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm just stuck in Limbo.
Maybe for me
droning on.
Maybe for me it's that game called OMG YouTuber's Life.
Well, speaking of that, do you want to hear your haiku?
Give me my haiku that the AI just came up with.
All right, this is the haiku for Rand. It's YouTube fame brings Rand to the spotlight. His wit shines bright, entertaining.
That's it. That's what? All right.
That's a haiku.
Yeah, it's a haiku. I know what a haiku is. I don't know.
Hang on. YouTube fame brings, shines bright, entertaining. Wait, that's not even a haiku.
Damn.
This AI sucks, man.
Yeah. This AI does suck.
They did it fucking wrong. All right, let's write a short poem about Rand the YouTuber. Write short poem about Rand the YouTuber. Okay, it's thinking.
Okay.
Rand on the screen, his wit and humor beams. Entertainment supreme.
What?
I always got a sense of humor.
Apparently.
I love this shit, man.
And my buddy Danye says Halo 2. And that DOA lied. His is Pokemon Go. Yeah. You calling out DOA on that one. His one definitely is Pokemon Go. It's not Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball DOA. DOA is a type of... DOA is literally somebody, Jez, he's been playing Pokemon Go since it launched. He literally has 4 phones to play Pokemon Go with. And he puts one of his phones in a cradle so it swings so he can get like walk time to like get stuff. Like he's literally extreme when it comes to Pokemon. I haven't seen this personally, but I've been told in confidence this is how DOA. He's even convinced some of my friends to like do Pokemon raids with them and stuff. But he's like hardcore. He's hardcore. You know? Imagine having 4 phones for the express purpose of playing Pokemon Go.
I mean, that's like it's not dissimilar from you playing like Barbie for achievements and stuff. Really.
Here we go.
It's true though. I've never done anything like that because I'm not a massive nerd.
I honestly don't know what would sum me up best as a person. Maybe Mass Effect. as like a story,
Scientific
sci-fi, you know, like
and
dashing
smart.
adventurer, solving problems. That's me, right?
No. It'd be one of those weird games about books.
Well, I was trying to think of one that has books, but I couldn't. I don't know. Mass Effect. That's what I'll go with. We got a question here from Omen. So there are some rumors that say 343 will no longer be creating additional campaign content for Halo and outsourcing it to other studios. Overall, how are you feeling on this? What studio, Xbox or otherwise, do you think Microsoft might realistically pick to take the helm on the Halo story? Well, we talked about that already. And I think you said that that was mostly false, right? Speculation that wasn't true.
Yeah.
But we do expect someone like Certain Affinity to maybe make the next Halo game. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can. My bad.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, yeah, we already talked about it, but it's probably going to be Certain Affinity, if anyone, who picks up some of the mantle of Halo. But we'll see. Yeah, maybe they'll outsort it to CD Projekt Red, and we get like a hardcore RPG.
Yeah, that would never happen. That would never happen.
Never know, man.
Let's see. We still got a couple more. Jasper Shep says, which Fable is your favorite and why? I would probably say... probably Fable 1. It's the one I played the most. Fable 2 would be a very close second. But I would say Fable, just because I think at the time it was a very unique experience for me. Being able to be like the evil and the good. And it was just a really, really fun game to play. So it would be the first Fable. And just,
I'm not really a fan of Fable.
Yeah, I figured as much. You're not really a fan of anything outside of World of Warcraft, right?
I just think it's overrated. But I never really had nostalgia for the first game. I actually owned the first game, but I didn't really play it much. I don't know why. Maybe it overlapped with Warcraft Addiction again. I don't know. But I play Halo 2, Fable 2 was the one I played the most. As I suppose that would be my favorite one technically, because it had the doggo in it, if nothing else. And I didn't really do much with the co-op stuff because it was just kind of like you drop into someone else's game and couldn't really carry the progress across very well. I mean, I think some bits of progress carried across, but not others. But I don't know. I remember playing like a dude with a gun and shooting people, and the little eyeball popped out and stuff, and that was pretty funny. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Fable. I'm really. A lot of people say like, a lot of people call out Fable's humor, and they're like, yeah, the new one really needs to be more humorous. But I honestly want it to be a little bit more serious.
I think it can retain some of the British toilet humor that it has, but I also sort of do want...
I hate that stuff.
Well, no, I'm saying retain some of it. I do want it to be a little bit more serious take, but not saying that you couldn't have some of that humor that made Fable, right? I just don't want them to go full on embrace the British toilet humor of kicking chickens and farting, right? Because like Fable had a dedicated fart button. Like, yeah, haha, that's funny when you're 15 or whatever. Not so much funny anymore, at least to me. But all right. Mythic Marty says, should Phil come out with the statement about Halo? How can Microsoft expect fans to trust them with beloved franchises with the way Halo has been handled? I don't like the idea of work for hire studios taking stabs at Halo. Recipe for another Crackdown 3. Halo deserved better. Well, I mean, the email that Phil wrote to employees did leak. We did read that off, and like Jez says, he thinks that 343 will come out eventually to talk about Halo at some point, right? You did say you thought they would come out.
Yeah, I think they'll go public soon. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I brought up my concerns about relying on third parties that you don't own to do stuff, because that is a recipe for what happened during the Xbox One generation, and I'd rather them not do it. And yeah, it's like, I have concerns. It's like, you mismanaged Halo. How did you end up screwing up Halo that bad? And it's like, are you the right people to manage Call of Duty at that point? You know, these are questions that need to be answered. It's like, you know, I will find out. Maybe if they remain hands off with Call of Duty and let the Activision run it, but clearly being hands off on Halo wasn't the right answer. Or maybe they meddled. I don't know, because there are some people saying that upper management meddled, maybe during like the Terry Myerson days, instead of just letting them do Halo. Who knows what really happened besides the people that work there, and they're probably all under NDA and can't talk about it. Sleetitz says, "Hey Jez, what are your thoughts on major publishers' mismanagement of IP, staff, developers, and internal controversies like harassment that seems so prevalent in recent years? Ubisoft's statement to their staff being the most recent example. Where is the industry going with so much consolidation, no job security, and work environments that have toxic reputations?"
Man, that's a tough question. It's multifaceted and it's difficult to answer, you know, because I don't have the same kind of sourcing as some of the other journalists out there who talk sort of intimately about these kind of issues. You know, I just don't have those kind of sources. You know, I don't push people to give me that kind of information. I mean, I'd be happy to report if I did get that information, but I'm not actively seeking it out, because I think it's kind of awkward to go to someone and be like, you know, tell me about all the terrible things that happened to you. You know, it's hard, you know, to figure out a way to sort of, you know, offer the service of amplifying injustice in a respectful way, I think, or whatever, you know. I mean, I'd like to do that, and I'd happily do that, and I have done that in the past, but it's not something I actively, you know, do in my job role. So it's really hard to answer that in a simple way. But I do think, you know, unionization is probably going to be an aspect of improving the industry, and we've seen like a massive swing towards pro-unionization in recent years. I think part of that is because of a generalized issues with distribution of wealth. I think there's a view that, you know, the rich have got richer and richer and richer, while the rest of us have not. Trickle down economics and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Get into a deep discussion about capitalism then, and you know, all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, the whole thing with the Ubisoft CEO is super weird and tone deaf. And I actually thought like Satya Nadella's statements were similarly putting the onus on the remaining employees at Xbox to and Microsoft in general, actually, to sort of why is Alexa talking? Like Satya Nadella did it as well. He put the responsibility on the staff to dig deep and you know, find you know, growth in a depressed economy. And it's kind of like, well, maybe if you guys didn't like over expand during the pandemic to take advantage of a situation, you know, maybe, you know, we wouldn't be in this situation. You know, if we didn't have a system where investors leech the profits that could be going to workers who actually make the content that we enjoy, so they can go and buy yachts and stuff, maybe things would be different, you know. So yeah, but the thing about our economic system is these cycles come and go, boom, bust, you know, and this we're in now a depression cycle, you know, a recession cycle. And tech is vulnerable during a recession. You know, a lot of luxury goods and things that aren't as necessary in life potentially. And then it'll flip around, and we'll go back to the other thing, and investment will come back, and interest rates will go down back again to really low, and yeah, it's just cycles in, cycles out, and that's just the way it is. But yeah it's a really complicated question. Hard to answer in the podcast, but it's a good one. It's a good question.
Tenant OVB says, just lost my job in tech. Moments like this make me want to support people that bring happiness in my life and never ask for money. Much love. Well, sorry to hear that you lost your job. And, that's what we try to do our Xbox 2 is just, have fun and have, make people happy, I guess. So thank you for your support and for being here. And, if anybody has any questions, chat, we'll try to take some. Just at me or Jez. I'll try to do my best to round them up. But, I want to thank all the Patreons for dropping their questions in there. I love getting a lot of the really inspiring ones. I don't know, the fun ones, right? I love the way some of them think. They think outside the box, give us some really cool things to think about. Like I never thought I was like, what game best represents me as a man? Like
Barbie,
yeah. Yeah, a lot going on this week. Next week we will be back, most likely on Friday. I don't think we're gonna do a show right after we're not doing a show right after the developer direct, right?
Is that the same time?
It's like Wednesday. It would be like Wednesday. Yeah, it's on at 2 p.m.
No, I'll be too busy.
Yeah, we'll be back with the Xbox 2 on the 27th. Obviously, talking about all the things that are happening with the developer direct and what we saw, and if there's any release dates or new announcements, So we'll be back then in a week to talk about all those things. And we have a question here from Detective Seeds. Rand, do you guys have any inclination of where Indiana Jones IP stands? I have no clue. Do you have any idea, Jez?
No clue. No idea. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, maybe we see it this summer. I mean, the movie is releasing this summer. Maybe we see a trailer for the game.
So
that'd be good. That'd be some good synergy. I think that's a possibility. Dave says, "Did you read Pick a Path books as a kid?" No. What is Pick a Path books? No, I don't.
Oh, it's like
Pick a Path, where it was like, read this and then and then change or flip to page 12 or flip to page 50. I think maybe I've read one, but it wasn't something that I did a lot. I think I maybe read one of those in my life.
I also read one actually.
You did.
I say that I never read any books, but it's I never read any serious books. I used to read Goosebumps books as a kid. I had a bunch of Goosebumps books. I really loved those. And one of there was like a series of Pick a Path Goosebumps books. And I had one, and I hated it. I was like, man, I just want a normal book. I don't want to have to make choices, which is weird because now I actually, prefer games that let me make a choice. But I don't
know. Yeah, that looks like. Zach Riley says, "Did you guys see the WWE 2K23 cover and release date leaked last night?" I did. It's John Cena on the cover, and I think it's coming like March 17th.
John Cena.
Yeah.
He's got to be getting on a bit now.
He is getting on a bit. He is definitely. What did I read as a kid? Like I remember reading The Hobbit. I mean, there's the books you always read in grammar school. Like I read Ender's Game. I read The Giver and like of Mice and Men and Old Man in the Sea. And in high school I read a bunch of Shakespeare. Read Beowulf. I read Hamlet and a whole bunch of stuff from Shakespeare. And then I read some of that fantasy, like Magician, and then that kind of started me on my whole like love of science fiction, fantasy, horror, thriller that I rediscovered last year. So, that's kind of what happened with me. So, Rambling Gamer Guy wants to know: is it true that the Bethesda layoffs were mainly in the publishing division due to overlap, Jez?
I mean, it does seem like they wanted Bethesda to cut down, and they have focused on areas of overlap. But I did see a couple of producers get laid off here and there. I wonder. I have no idea how they choose how people get laid off. I mean, I think I said at the start of the show, it's not like. Actually, I think I just said this. I said this to Rand before we went live. But like, when a Windows Central or Future PLC, who own us, when they're like looking to make savings, it's really simple. You just pull up the writers, look at all their content, and then look at how much money it's made. And it's like, well, we're paying this writer 50 grand or 40 grand or 30 grand or whatever it is. and they're made only 10 grand of income. So having them employed here is negative, over time. So you can make really easy decisions. I mean, if you want to be like that mercenary about it. But when it comes to devs, like, how do you make that choice? How do you know what contributions have been made where, which lead to profitability? Like, how I have no idea how they make
performance
those choices.
reviews.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know either. Yeah, I think that's it. Dang 3 Bill says you should read the 3 Body Problem. I do actually have that series, so it is something I will read at one point. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in to today's Xbox 2. You guys are amazing as always. Best chat around. Best people watching the show. And we appreciate you and love you so much. Patreon people, just keep in mind, I think on the 30th we'll be doing that Xbox 2+1 with Jeff Grubb, where you get early access for like, a week. I can't wait to talk to Jeff. We got a lot of things to talk about. And don't forget, this week's sponsor is HelloFresh. And you can go to HelloFresh.com/Xbox222 and use code Xbox222 for 22 free meals plus free shipping. So links in the description for that. And we'll be back next week to talk about the Xbox Direct and all the cool stuff that they show. And until then, hope you guys have a great weekend and keep it.
Oh, Rand.
What?
Rand.
What?
Before we get out of here.
Okay.
Rand on YouTube, a creator of note. His videos both clever and droll. With wit and humor, he keeps us afloat, entertaining all, young and old.
I mean, it's better. So I guess we're going to end the show on a AI-generated poem. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Later.
Woo.